Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley, and this is episode number 112 of the Corona Diaries. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, it's a Festivus for the rest of us. Once again, coming to you from Ice Station Z Gangsta, my winter residence here in the loveliest village on the plains, Auburn, Alabama. This episode has so much stuff to get to, so I don't want to waste much time up top, but I will just say that if you are looking to get the Goods Boys a Christmas present, you can very easily do so. All you got to do is take 30 seconds out of your busy holiday schedule, head over to Apple Podcasts, and give us a 5-star rating and a review. The review, it doesn't have to be detailed. The algorithm waves just writing like, good show, as much as it would if you wrote the entirety of Tender is the Night on there. We've got a lot of new reviews recently. That's cool. So keep them coming in. That really does help grow the show. I should also mention that right now over at patreon.com/thegoods-pod, we just dropped a hilarious new bonus episode with me and comedian Kevin Anderson from the Bleak and Review podcast, chatting about the horrible Hulk Hogan movie No Holds Barred. That was such a fun episode. Join the Tower of Power. It's just $5 a month. And if you are already signed up and I don't have your address, go ahead and give me that. Go to patreon.com and edit your settings so I have that, or send it to me direct message at Rivers Langley or at The Goods Pod, because I'm going to have a little thank you gift for all of our patrons that is going to be mailed out just after the new year. So hop on board with us at the Tower of Power ASAP, patreon.com/thegoods-pod. Now let's get to the show. First up, of course, we got America's next door neighbor, Samuel Harder. He has been cooking up all kinds of ganja goodies over there across the hall from Disgraceland Studios. Cannot wait to chug a Bang energy drink and talk about that and some of your favorite Christmas gift memories that y'all send in over at The Goods Pod on Twitter. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Next up, and this is very, very cool, I'm going to be calling down to Virginia to talk to my buddy, comedian and musician Mike Engle. Mike is in a great band called the Alex Jonestown Massacre. Y'all all need to check out their record that came out back in the summer. It's called Run On Death Sentence. It is one of my favorite albums of the year. And also, this is really cool. We are very honored. Mike and the boys in AJM are going to let us debut their Christmas single at the end of our show. So that is going to be a great time. Also, I am planning on completely destroying Eric Clapton for people during this segment. So I'm sorry if you like Clapton, but he's fucking gone. He's let's hear it, Rod.
This is suicide, my man.
Yeah, Clapton did that. Exactly. So boring Starbucks music is never going to be the same, so stay tuned for that. And finally, we are going to be coming in for a landing back at Disgraceland Studios with the Crystal Pistol himself, Carter Glascock. Carter and I are going to be talking about some of the zany shit that Donald Trump has been up to as his time in office and his big wet baby brain both come to an end. So also, we've got a very Christmassy jam of the day. Let's start the show. Deck the halls, y'all. The Goods from the Woods, Corona Diaries number 112 starts right now. Calling in now from the City of Angels, it's America's next door neighbor, Sam Harder. What's up, my man?
Oh, hey, how are you doing? I'm just peeking over the fence, seeing how you guys are living.
That is the best way to imagine it. So yeah, you're like a Wilson situation, except instead of the top of a bucket hat, it's just a plume of that good green smoke coming up.
Tim and his family always wondering what that smell is.
It's you baking. What was it? Blueberry bread?
Yeah, blueberry bread. I got banana nut bread. Big things are happening over here.
Yeah,
all sorts of pastries with drugs in them.
I mean, you changed your Twitter name to Weed Man, I noticed.
I mean, nobody else was using it, I guess, so why not me?
By the way, speaking of drugs, this week, shout out to @TheFatherSparks for my bang of the week. I'm about to get banked up again.
Oh God.
Well, and I gotta say, this time I have a couple of Tums sitting here because drinking these bangs, it's like eating buffalo wings and washing it down with battery acid. I swear to God, it is the most acidic thing. So once I start talking, if I drink enough bang, then I start getting the hiccups and shit, and it's just not good for an audio format. So now I've come prepared.
I get it. I think I've only drinking one like once or twice. I remember one time I was on a cross-country comedy road trip or tour or whatever you want to call it with my friend Joe Tuller. And he was driving. He drank 2 in a day, and then he just started uncontrollably shaking.
That sounds about right. I mean, you know, what's funny is like they have had the unintentional kind of utilitarian purposes of once I drink one and chat with you and then chat with whoever else I'm going to talk to, then I'm all jacked up and I'm like ready to edit. So it actually does kind of serve the function of keeping me up to actually, you know, make the show happen and stuff like that. But I got to be honest, man, every week I get one of these. I haven't gotten hooked on them. There's no chance of that. It's literally just because I think the bit is kind of funny. So I just go to the gas station next to my parents' house every week and I'm like, well, somebody on Twitter.
Excuse me, sir. I have a bit to do. Where's your bang?
Can you direct me to the bang cooler? I have to make comedy on the internet. But so far, every week somebody has recommended something to me. And you know, last week I tried I think it was the candy apple one that Eric Nelson up in Minnesota said. This week, at the Father Sparks says that the real action is with this one, Sour Heads.
Yeah, I saw this one at the store. I assume it's like a warhead type thing.
That's what I thought too, which is also why I brought the Tums, because goddamn, if key lime pie fucked me up, this is going to be very gross.
Yeah, I can't imagine a liquid warhead. They're already like, you put them into your mouth and your mouth just starts watering like crazy instantly.
Yeah, I was like the fizz ones. Those weren't as intense. They didn't have sour on them. They had fizzy stuff, so you could start foaming at the mouth like Cujo.
I don't remember those. I only remember the pop rocks of destroying the inside of my mouth and insides.
Yeah, similar to Pop Rocks, but it just had like an inside where it was just, you know, fizzy.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm gonna put the microphone next to the bang can so people know I'm actually opening this thing. I'm not jiving. All right. Oh,
it's a ginger ale. He's lying, folks.
Oh my God. The smell of it weirdly smells like a gym, like a high school gym. It's pretty like a locker room. It's kind of got like a sweaty socks kind of
does it have the sweaty with like weird cleaning solution smell?
Yeah, a little bit. I haven't drank. All right, here we go. Oh man. Okay. I no disrespect to Eric Nelson, I kind of like this one. This one's also a little appley too. It kind of tastes like a blow pop, like it's got a little bubble gum happening in there too. I kind of like this a little bit more than last week, and last week was my favorite of this run, besides the Rainbow Unicorn, of course.
So now you've had 4.
Yeah, this is number 4. I've had the Rainbow Unicorn. I've had the
key lime
pie, candy apple, and then this week is Sour Heads. And Sour Heads is pretty good. I mean, maybe I'm just getting used to the horrible creatine aftertaste, and that's what's happening, because the taste of the creatine is going down and down with each successive one. But
yeah, it seems like traditionally the first couple sips of this are okay.
Yeah,
but then when it starts getting warmer / when you start to feel the active ingredients bubbling inside you, that's when everything starts to go wrong.
Yeah, well,
so you're in the middle of nowhere in a car and you're just shaking uncontrollably.
What was your friend talking about while he was shaking? Was he just going? It seems like that's when you get really heavy into some Battlestar Galactica discussion or something, when you're just real tweaked out.
We were just so in the middle of nowhere. It was one of those things where it's just like there's nothing to talk about. You've been in the car for so long that you're just listening to the radio or the wind moving by the car, you know.
Yeah.
Every couple miles there's a billboard that'll give you something to chat about for 30 seconds.
By the way, later on, there's no way I can do both of these at once. But later on, I'm gonna be chatting with Carter, and for that chat, I found at the gas station Pabst Blue Ribbon hard coffee.
Oh God, damn!
It's an alcoholic.
Almost every other word you said took a weird twist I did not expect.
Yeah, it's an alcoholic coffee that I found at the gas station, and it was It comes in a 4-pack.
I mean, this is clearly their response to White Claw, but holy shit, what a response this is.
Well, the thing about White Claw, and I can now say this definitively because I've drank a bunch of seltzers since I was here, you can just keep drinking those because a hard coffee, first of all, they're 11 ounces instead of 12, which is
interesting.
Very weird of them. But yeah, and it's, let's see, I think it's 5% alcohol, so it's not even that alcoholic. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, like I said, there's not enough fucking Tums in the world to be double fisting Bang and PBR coffee.
Yeah. Let me know what that tastes like. I have a morbid interest.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting ready for. So I'm doing a. Does
it say how much caffeine is in it?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I'll have to look. Let's see. This is weird, man. This box doesn't have any nutrition facts on it. I didn't think you could do that.
Yeah, I think for some reason we live in a country where only alcohol products can get away with that.
That's so like, weird.
You don't know. You don't need to know what's in it. You're going to enjoy it either way.
Oh my God, dude. It literally just says malt beverage with natural and artificial flavors contains milk. So it's like, shut up and drink it, idiot.
Oh, there's dairy in it.
I'm dreading this. This is going to be gross.
It's probably going to be just like the seltzers where you're just like, it kind of tastes like a seltzer. I can't taste. Is it carbonated? I forgot to ask that.
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I actually, I did talk to somebody who had tasted it before. I texted my buddy Miles because I was like, have you seen this shit? And he was like, oh yeah, it tastes like Yoo-Hoo. So apparently it's just, yeah.
That's even worse than what I thought.
It is totally one of those like children's drinks because when I was a kid they had Jack Daniels. I think it was supposed to like approximate Jack and Coke, but they had like
these.
Jack Daniels soda, and they had like the Lynchburg lemonade. They had all that type of shit that was totally just could not be aimed more at children.
But yeah, I remember drinking a Sparks.
Oh Christ!
Wait, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say like it was aimed at children, and now I feel like the seltzers are almost aimed at just people our age, where it's like, man, I can't be drinking all this beer, but a water with alcohol.
Oh, so, definitely.
Yeah,
it's for people with eating disorders or alcoholics who are like, I need to change my life.
yeah. I don't need to quit drinking. I need to drink clearer.
Yeah, it's like when drunkards switch to light beer or something, and then they're just like, I don't black out anymore. I can just drink all day. It's not a problem.
By the way, I didn't copy this whole story. I just kind of copied the headline because it was interesting to me. I'd get your take as long as we're talking about alcohol. So there is an insurance information aggregator called Insurify that has revealed that if you drive a Dodge Ram 2500 pickup, you are twice as likely to have a DUI on your record as the average person.
I did know a guy with a Dodge Ram who got really drunk and drove it around. So
me too. We used to ride around in the back of one. We had lots of good ideas.
Times.
Yeah. Listen to Rage Against the Machine and Outkast and fucking swerve all over the roads at night. It was great.
Hey man, open the middle window so I can hear it better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We rolled around like that. That was the best. Oh man. Well, what you been up to this week, man?
Right now I just cook for myself, so I'm in a constant situation of deciding what I'm going to eat, cooking, and then washing dishes 3 times a day. So it just feels like I'm in a deja vu of that. I watched The Great Gatsby with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh my God.
And Tobey Maguire.
Oh man. That movie.
I feel like I watched that movie and I don't even know what happened.
That movie is, because Gatsby, the book, is such a kind of subtle, well-written, well-constructed sort of narrative. So they decided to get Baz Luhrmann, who is the loudest, most fucking ridiculous director out there this side of like Joel Schumacher or Michael Bay or something, to do Gatsby. And I just thought it was weird to begin with, but then took the weirdest turn when they're driving across the Brooklyn Bridge and there's that car playing an old school version of Crazy in Love by Beyonce.
Oh yeah. That happens consistently.
That is the weirdest moment where I'm like, why did you do any of this?
Well, if you didn't know, executive produced by Sean Jay-Z Carter.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So his shitty music is also in the movie.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And so is Will.i.am and Fergie's, but they're not even like old school versions. They're just the new versions.
Yeah. Well, no, I just remember that one specifically where they're driving in the car and it's like this like kind of like Harlem jazz, like, and then it's like somebody going, "Got you feeling so crazy right now, got my love feeling crazy right now," but it's like supposed to be like this, kind of like muted horn, like kind of poppy jazz version. It's so fucking stupid. And also, it's like, dude, they didn't have radios in the car yet. In the 20s, they barely had radios in the fucking house.
Yeah, they made a lot of serious missteps with this film.
It was rough.
The whole thing looks like a music video. Nothing really happens, it seems like, in the movie.
Well, that's kind of the thing with Gatsby, right? It's such a hard book to adapt because, kind of nothing happens in Gatsby. It's just these two guys kind of like each other, and then at the end, one of them gets shot, and that's sort of the thing. It's the way it's written. Spoiler alert! Gatsby gets gatted, but the beauty is in the way it's written. It's not really that plot heavy. I don't know. It's hard to do on screen, but the last person on earth I would select to do it is the guy who did Moulin Rouge and Romeo plus Juliet.
Well, the good thing about the book is that it's so good that you can just put the text from the book on screen, which they do several times throughout the movie. That's to remind you that it's a book.
That's right. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a thing. What else have I done? Cooper went on an ill-advised trip to San Francisco.
What?
And then, I don't know. And then we were like, well, are you going to quarantine or anything? And Cooper was like, I guess I could just stay with my mom. And then when he got back, his mom heard what was happening, and she would not let him stay at her own house.
I mean, that sucks for you, but good for her,
Yeah, I agree.
Holy shit, man. That is,
Cooper left like the day before. Like, it already was a bad idea, but then like the day after he left is when it came out they had 0 hospital beds in the entire state.
Jesus fuck.
So it made the bad idea just so much worse.
What? And this might be confidential information. What was he doing in San Francisco that he needed to go?
I don't think anything. I honestly think it was just one of those, like, him and his friend he grew up with are just like, hey, we're both not doing anything for a couple days. Let's drive up to the Bay Area. I don't think it was any, like, trip for any type of orgy situation or something like that.
No secret stand-up comedy show on the roof of Transamerica Pyramid or some shit.
Yeah, as far as I know, there's none of that, because his friend he went up there with isn't a comic.
Okay.
So that'd be incredibly depressing if you tricked your friend into driving you to a show 6 hours away.
Yeah.
So you could do 8 minutes. Looking at it, it's just like classic dumb 21-year-old guy stuff.
Sure. I just
like, also before he left on the trip, we were like, well, how long are you going to be gone? And he was just like, I don't know. Yeah. And he legitimately did not know. It was such like a poor planned trip. He had no idea how long he was going to be gone.
Well, in San Francisco especially, I think their lockdown is even more hardcore than ours. So it's like, I don't know what. I just want to see a montage of like the 3 things there are to do in San Francisco right now.
Oh, yeah. He just described walking around the city.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, you can kind of walk through Chinatown and North Beach. You could maybe ride bikes across the Golden Gate Bridge, and then you're kind of done.
He was impressed by how much gayer Castro is than West Hollywood.
I mean, okay.
He did mention that. But
yeah, when I was doing the tour guide gig, once in future tour guide gig, I had a group this was in June during Pride, a group they were just very like run of the mill Midwestern family, mom, dad, 2 kids, and the kids were like 11 and 12 or so, they were like not crazy young, but they were whatever.
Yeah,
so
perfect age to turn them gay.
Well, they came to LA like right after Pride had ended, and I was driving around, and the mom was just like, yeah, they just said that they had just come back from San Francisco. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, San Francisco is a beautiful city. And she goes, she's like, yeah, it was nice. I wasn't really ready for all the rainbow stuff. But and it was just my tip at the end of the day was on the line, so I didn't say what I wanted to say, which is like, yeah, you went to fucking San Francisco during Pride Week. What did you expect? But instead, I was just like, oh yeah, it's colorful people up there or something, just like to try to move on. That job made me the master of changing the fucking subject.
Yeah. I mean, definitely in that situation, there's no good way to enter that discussion.
Yeah. You just immediately like, oh, look over there. That's a eucalyptus tree. Those are Australian.
The fact that she decided to use the word rainbow because she didn't know if gay would be too harsh.
Right.
Because she clearly does not like talking about gay people.
Right. But it's just so funny that she's talking about San Francisco. Like, you can say San Francisco is very gay. I think that's fine. But she was like, I just didn't, all the rainbow stuff. And I was like, all right, well, I don't need to hear what else you have to say on this subject. So let's move on, please.
You thought it was going to all be the Full House home and whatever else you think about that place.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's the number one thing on the list when I think about San Francisco is either rice-a-roni or homosexuality. Those are the two things that people think about. And then Full House dragging the line at number 3.
It's true. You got the Golden Gate Bridge, you got the trolleys, and we're done with the list right now.
Pretty much it. It's just funny that this lady was like, I just wasn't ready for it. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, lady. It's like coming to LA and being like, wow, I wasn't ready for there to be movie studios everywhere. Which a lot of people did say that too. That was always my favorite comment when giving tours, when people go, wow, all the billboards here it's just all ads for movies, isn't it? And I'm like, yeah, that's like going to Detroit and being like, wow, it's just all ads for cars. Like, yeah, it's what the fuck. I
did find that interesting. How you move out here and it's like, I've never seen a fucking billboard for a single movie in my life.
That's true, I guess.
And now they're everywhere. You want to know some inside Hollywood baseball that I've heard? They allegedly will buy advertisements for projects like movies, music, TV in areas where they know the stars live, or in areas where they know the producers or somebody high up lives, so it looks like they're advertising more than they actually are.
Yeah, that's why Sunset Boulevard in between Beverly Hills and Hollywood it's all of that shit, and it's all like weird stuff a lot of times too, where you're like, why is there so much shit here for the RoboCop reboot? It's like, oh, it's because the guy who rebooted RoboCop lives on Rodeo Drive. Or whatever.
Yeah, and he needs some security that they actually care about this movie.
Yeah, exactly. I seem to remember Mark Maron saying on his show at one point, like on his podcast, that he was like, I told the guys, I was like, I want to see a billboard, just one. Or something like that. So he like specifically requested one billboard, and I think I saw it. It was on like Olympic or something down near the 10. It was like way the hell out of Hollywood.
Dude, there's a couple tiny billboards near us. Like there's one on Melrose that's like partially covered up by trees, and then one on Virgil, like in the parking lot of the 7-Eleven. And they're both like ones that you could probably rent for like $50 a month. And they always have some like underground music advertisement or some like weird alt like comedy project like all the time.
Oh yeah.
And it's just that they know like those people in those things aren't rich enough to live in Hollywood yet. So they're like, look, we love the Suicide Boys here in East Hollywood.
Yeah.
You can't get enough of them.
Los Feliz loves the whitest kids you know.
My favorite one was a Green Day billboard that was like, we don't have any auto-tune European producers, or the gist of the billboard is just that we're not current day rap.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, because they were like touring with Weezer or something like that, and it was like the no auto tune allowed or something.
get those old white guys riled up to come see some Green Day 25 years later.
Well, we're coming up on Christmas here, Sam, and I was going to ask, because I threw this out to everybody on Twitter just to see what people had to say, but I'll ask you first. What is the best Christmas gift y'all have ever received?
I got a bike one year. That was a pretty big deal.
God, yeah, that's a great one.
I remember loving the fact that my parents got me Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Ooh.
And I think that's just because they did it perfectly, where they're just like the whole time they're just like, I don't know if we should buy that for you. Knowing full well they were going to buy it for me.
That was your Red Ryder BB gun. It's like, You'll shoot that prostitute's eye out, kid.
Yeah, and then they wrapped it up in like a much bigger box and threw a bunch of like loose change in it.
Oh, classic.
had me like shake it around. And then when it was the thing I wanted, I was very happy.
Classic.
I think that's memorable. The bike, just PlayStation. The one year we first got the PlayStation and then couldn't figure out how to set it up. That was a great year. We figured it out eventually. It was just that we had never had you remember those cords that are yellow, red, and white?
Oh yeah, the AV cords.
Yeah, we had never had a thing that had plugged into that on our TV or VCR or whatever we were using to plug it in.
Yeah.
So we didn't know that we had to like pop its cherry and like shove it in like super hard to be able to get it to connect, because it had never had anything plugged into it for like 20 years.
Oh man.
So once we figured that out, we were good to go.
I put up, because there is one thing that really sticks out in my mind in my entire childhood more than anything, and it was the image that I threw up on the tweet, which is the Jurassic Park electronic command compound, which was like the play set. It was the only fucking play set I think I ever had. My whole, everybody I knew had that Mighty Max Volcano or the Ghostbusters Firehouse or something like that. This was my one play set I had, and my parents got it for me what must have been Christmas 1993, right when Jurassic Park came out. That was the shit. And I threw that up, and there was actually a couple people. I know my buddy Adam Condra, listening in Tuscaloosa, said that was the exact thing that he had too as his number one. But
I remember the commercial for these.
Oh, it was dope. It had the fences, it had the electric fences from the movie, and pieces of the building could like just break away, so you could just like grab it with the T-Rex's mouth and like rip off the fucking balcony of the thing. Ruled.
Yeah.
And it had a computer on the inside with just buttons that you could press. It would say "Dino attack" and shit like that.
Yeah, I remember the sound effects specifically from the commercial.
Oh.
That being a big selling point.
It's the Jurassic Park Command Compound, with an electronic computer that says over 100 commands.
We need more firepower.
The computer
Send help!
helps you control Jurassic Park.
Got him.
T-Rex attacking.
Look out, Brad! Fire the net. Got him.
Compound secure.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park Electronic Talking Command Compound. Figures and dinosaurs sold separately. Batteries not included.
Oh, just the fucking best. There was actually quite a few play sets that people mentioned on here. My buddy Michael McCall, at J. Michael McCall, his was the USS Flag, which is the G.I. Joe battleship play set. That's what he said. I
recently noticed that G.I. Joe isn't really a thing anymore. And what they have now is America's like U.S. Army, like sponsored by the actual army.
Oh, Christ.
It's like the exact same size and they look exactly the same.
Oh, my God.
But they're just the real military now. And then on the side of the box, they're like, you can join the military, right?
Yeah. Here, we'll give you a free T-shirt when you turn 17, and then we'll give you a gun when you turn 18. It's great.
Yeah. I witnessed these in the store and was like, holy shit, I can't believe this has turned into a thing. But I can't, Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
When we were in high school, they made that free video game you could play, America's Army, classic terrible video game. And they try to hook us kids in any way they can.
Oh man, you remember the Marines commercial where the guy is literally fighting a dragon?
Yeah, with a sword.
Yeah, and then
after climbing to the top of a volcano.
Yeah, it's like he's Frodo trying to get rid of the ring at the top of Mount Doom, and he has to fight a fucking dragon, and then it's like, join the Marines. That was right. It was either right before or right after 9/11, because I remember that commercial, and even as a whatever I was, like 13 or 14, just being like, this seems kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely just seems stupid. Even as a child, you're like, this is not how the Marines work.
No.
if you think it's anything like this, you're in for a rude awakening.
Our friend Adam Quinnell, who actually came on our show for an episode talking about toys. His favorite gift, and this one I never had the full set, but I did have a piece of it weirdly, which was Krang's android body. So the gigantic kind of sumo wrestler looking dude that contained the disembodied brain villain of the Ninja Turtles, Krang. And so this thing was like huge. It was way bigger. It's like almost a foot tall. So it was way bigger than the Ninja Turtles toys and shit like that. So it would have been, because I definitely had a friend who had this, and I was insanely jealous, but I never had one myself. But
yeah, this sounds cool as fuck. That's one of my favorite characters from the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, and this guy, I mean, he's fucking huge, and he let's see. Oh, and this was what I had though, weirdly, because as I mentioned on the show before, my mom used to go to every yard sale in town, so I would just have miscellaneous shit from everywhere, and so I had the little Krang, I had the brain that goes inside the giant guy, but I didn't have the giant guy.
Damn.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I had a piece of that. So that was cool. At Mentally Vacant 8, one of my favorite Twitter handles, he posted the Star Wars Power of the Force Millennium Falcon, which again, similar to the Jurassic Park thing, just like a giant electronic thing that makes laser noises and is just a very cool thing to have.
You know what? My brother got that.
Oh, yeah?
Year. Yeah, he had a really big Star Wars phase back when the movies got re-released in the 90s.
Yeah, that's about when this was from.
He had that. You could take off the top of it and put the figures in different parts of the Millennium Falcon. Definitely made some laser noises. Good time.
Oh, man. Our friend at Clay_Cutler, he says it's a tie between the first good guitar he ever had and N64 with WCW NWO Revenge.
Oh, yeah. I'd definitely rather have the video game there.
I don't know. I think at the time, because I didn't start playing guitar until, I was like 17 or 18. Yeah. So at the time, definitely an N64, which, again, I had plenty of neighbors that had it, but never owned one of my own.
Look, all I know is if you're going to hurt your hands and get carpal tunnel, you'd have more fun doing it with the video game than with making your fingers bleed on the guitar strings.
Yeah, that's true. At JM Janks, this is cool. This is I've never seen this before. Nolan Ryan's Strike Zone Baseball. So he says
this a video game?
No, it's he says this was the best and funnest Christmas present I've ever gotten. And so what it looks like is it's like a pad that you hang from a door and then you just fucking hurl baseballs at it as hard as you can. And it says electronic voice announcing play-by-play while you pitch. So this is...
Oh, so it's basically like a noise pad.
Right. And so, I mean, for a kid, this sounds incredible. For a parent, you would be so fucking mad the moment that this actually got hooked up, because now not only is there an electronic thing going, batter up, or, whatever, it's also a kid hurling a baseball at your door. So
yeah, I was gonna say this is something my parents would not allow in the house in any capacity.
Fuck no. The box literally has a kid hanging this thing from a door. Like, you see the doorknob, you just give it to the kid on Christmas morning, and then they run in their room, and like 5 minutes later, it's just boom, boom, just like hard fucking knocks, and then also play ball.
I mean, that's best case scenario. Realistically, you hear like dunk, dunk, glass shattering everywhere.
Yeah.
Because if there's anything kids are known for, it's their pinpoint accuracy when throwing fastballs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh,
yeah,
fuck.
I mean, we definitely had like a pretty strict no throwing balls in the house rule. With me and my brother and my mom. So yeah, I can't even imagine this being a thing that exists, but maybe did it come with baseballs that weren't regular baseballs? That seems like the only way this could work.
Maybe so. It's the box just says Pro Sports Electro Arcade Games. Nolan Ryan, Strike Zone Baseball. You're the pitcher in a real baseball game. Electronic voice announcer play-by-play while you pitch. So as far as I could tell, you're just supposed to wing this thing with real baseballs. JM Jenks, get at us. Tell us what this was like and where did you have it set up, because that is crucial.
Real game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it says.
Yeah, I feel like unless you have parents where there's like a room in your house where there's nothing that matters, I don't feel like this is an inside toy in any way.
No, but the box shows the kid. It's hanging on a door. Maybe it's like a shed. Like you go out to the shed outside or tie it to a tree or something, but I don't know.
Yeah. All I know is if I wanted that when I was a kid, my parents would have just bought me like a doormat and hung it on the fence and said, "Here you go."
Yeah, I feel like if I was a dad, I would just be like, "Listen, I will play catch with you every day of your life to not have this. How about that?"
Not my dad. He's the old doormat on the fence type of dad.
Oh, okay. At CD Dick 5505. And this is cool because I would assume maybe this guy is probably slightly younger than me. He says, lots of fun with this bad boy. And I also had the Jeep and the T-Rex with dyno damage. And this is the Lost World mobile command center. So this is from a few years later. This is the big trailer that goes over the cliff with Jeff Goldblum and Julianne Moore inside. From that movie.
I didn't know this existed, but I could see how that could be a little bit fun.
Yeah, it's from the Lost World. I feel like that was like 1997, 1998. So it was right towards the end of me having toys and shit like that. But I did have somebody I think gave me for my birthday because they knew I was big into dinosaurs. The T-Rex from the Lost World. It was fucking awesome. The mouth was big enough to put an entire action figure into its mouth.
Yeah.
And it had I
recall this one.
Dude, it had a little escape hatch and you could just pull the guy out of its guts and do it against. You could eat people. It was fucking gnarly. I had that from Lost World.
That's cool. The thing I'm remembering about all these play sets is you think they're going to be so fun when you get them, but ultimately they're just like a series of plastic chairs and shelves to put your toys on. Because I remember having like a used version of the Ghostbusters house and then like the Millennium Falcon, of course, I was saying earlier, but ultimately there's not a lot to do with those. I think on the Ghostbusters one, there's like a pole you could slide down and
Right.
I guess if you had the car, it could pull into the garage or something, but...
Yeah, exactly. They're just kind of fun to have in the background while you play with the action figures and shit.
Exactly. While you make them fight or have sex or whatever your twisted child brain is thinking that day.
This is this is at the Father Sparks, the guy who recommended the Sour Heads Bang. So this is
by the way, how's that going?
It's okay. I've eaten one of the Tums already.
How far into the bang are you, would you guess?
I'm looking at just slightly over half.
Okay, that's better than I thought you were going to do.
I bet, waste not, want not. I've been trying to put it down. It's not great. I think I've reached...
later you're going to be like, damn, if I only had a little more bang.
I'll go up the street. I got access to more bang if I need it. I got a whole cooler up there at the Weagle gas station. But this is from at the Father Sparks. I made a lot of sugary garbage with this bad boy. And what it is, and I wonder if you remember this, the Dr. Dreadful Food Lab, which is the creepy crawlers that you can eat.
Oh, no, I never had that one. I remember creepy crawlers, but damn, just the easy bake for boys, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
You can only make gummies.
Yeah, exactly. Which now I think it would be very funny to make this, but for weed.
Yeah, manufacture drugs out of a children's toy. I'm down. If we can get one of these, I'm so down.
Oh man, yeah, I might have one. I might have one sent to. If I can find one.
Edit that number out.
But that was the Dr. Dreadful Food Lab. All right, so here's what's weird is I had one of these, and if somebody listening can tell me what this was, it was not creepy crawlers. and it was not the food lab. Instead, it was the same concept where you could make, gummy, jiggly bugs that were not edible, but mine was made, these are made, I guess, with like a light bulb, like you heat them up and then they kind of cook. Mine were made with ice. Like you set them the way you would set Jell-O in like a cold environment. So you had to like fill up this bottom part with ice. And I'm pretty sure they were made by Nickelodeon. So the same people that made like Gak and Floam and all that shit. But I have been unable to find this. Like I know for a fact I had it, and I know for a fact it wasn't one you cooked. You made it with ice. But so if somebody listening can tell me what the fuck I had. That was what I had, was the Nickelodeon version of the creepy crawlers. But there was no easy bake oven element to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard of that ever. This might be one of those situations where your brain went into an alternate reality and imagined this thing.
It's a Mandela effect.
Yeah, and that's why nobody has ever heard of this. But, I mean, it could definitely be real. That just sounds like so much work for a child. To pack anything with ice.
Yeah,
the fun is instantly over right then.
Maybe so. I don't remember. I think I just did it one time, and it was such a pain in the ass. If I remember right, I was like, this isn't fun to me.
Hey, kid, you want to hand crank some ice cream?
No, from what I remember, you just, oh my God, the bang. Ugh. From what I
worse and worse with every sip.
It's just, oh boy.
The exact opposite of Maxwell House. Not good till the last drop. Last drop, terrible.
Yeah, exponentially worse as you approach the last drop. But yeah, it wasn't like a hand crank situation. Like you just poured the goo into the mold, and then there was like a separate, shaped like a little cat box or something. Then you filled that with ice, and then you just set the mold on top of it to set it, if I remember right. And I only, like you said, it was a giant pain in the ass. I only did it once. I feel like I would have done it a lot more if, like at the Father Sparks was saying, like if I had the one where you could eat it. But if we're being honest, I probably would have just started squirting the goo in my mouth and not ever bothered to turn it into a gummy. I was very fat. I loved it. I loved every moment.
Just give me the goo.
Mom!
I don't have time for the ice.
I don't want to make a skeleton. I want goo.
All right, Rivers.
The box.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds like one of those things, even at the time, because I remember having some like easy bake oven for boys or some shit. But I don't know if I don't remember if it was quite the same thing. But
I would love if now it was the easy bake oven for boys was like Pitmaster Jr. and it was like learn to barbecue like a man.
Yeah, the Guy Fieri easy bake oven,
the donkey oven
on the side.
Oh, that would rule! My God, someone make that in Photoshop.
Honestly, edit that out. Let's go pitch this. Nobody can steal this idea. It's good. We could make some money.
Yeah, you'd have to make the children sign waivers because there would be an open flame, but it would be okay.
Oh yeah, it's an outside toy. We'll put that on the box.
Yeah, we'll put that next to Nolan Ryan's pitching toy. Both of those are for the outside.
Hey, Nolan Ryan sells hamburger patties.
Oh, that's
and
right.
I believe hot dogs.
That's right. Holy shit. Yeah, forgot about that. That's perfect. This box, by the way, says, Dr. Dreadful Food Lab, gruesome goodies that look gross but taste great. You can eat everything you make.
So you can really freak out your little sister. I'm eating a bug.
Yeah, I think.
Just kidding. It's that goo we were having earlier.
Yeah, do you remember that goo we enjoyed so much? It's now a spider. Fuck you, sis. I got a couple more that people sent us. So this is from @itsmlp. So in response to what was the best toy, he says, that would have to be this motherfucker right here. We were dirt poor, so we didn't have cable, and they kept us out of toy stores at all cost. The pop for this was huge because I had no idea it existed. It blew my mind, and it is a Dino Riders T-Rex. If you remember, it's like a dinosaur, but it's got all this like kind of armor on it, and all these guys can ride on it.
Cyborg dinosaur.
Yeah, it's the T-Rex.
It's one of those like television shows that just existed to sell toys. I remember this.
Yeah,
because I bought a Dino Riders VHS at a Salvation Army one time when I was a teenager. and was like, what the fuck is this? Oh, wait, it's awesome.
Dude, that's so funny you mentioned that. He goes on to say, I wasn't naive. I knew the toys were always from something. Still, it took a couple of years for me to find a Dino Riders VHS at the library, and I still can't believe that the cool animal people were the heels. Not how I booked them at all.
Yeah. It's true.
It's one of those perfect things. If you have the toy before you see the show, and like just obviously the bad guys pretty much always look cooler than the good guys, so you just assume they're good.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dino Riders was seriously a show that lasted for like 3 episodes, but they had like 4 seasons of toys already planned out.
Yeah.
So there's just way more toys than people who have actually seen the show or even know what it is, which is great.
Well, and a lot of that I think is the Ninja Turtles effect too, because by the end of that run of those toys, like I think we talked about this with Adam Quinnell, they were just making crazy shit that had nothing to do with the show. It was just whoever the artists were like, yeah, all of the checks clear from this place, so let's just go wild with it.
Yeah, like the detective one and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, the pervert Don or whatever I said.
Flasher Don with trench coat.
Yep. This is our friend at Brody Trotter says, not to age myself, but the Saba sword from Power Rangers, the mouth moved as it talked. So that's the White Ranger's sword from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that had like a tiger head on the end. And I had this. Somebody gave me this as a present. I think a birthday present maybe in the mid-90s whenever Power Rangers was out. And so I had this exact toy.
If that ages me, consider me old as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Because I definitely remember and wanted this.
I had one of these, although, low-key, the one you really want is the Green Ranger, because the Green Ranger, even though it's the same guy, so much cooler than the White Ranger.
It does look cooler. I remember the Power Rangers toys being like the toy like parents were having fist fights over in Toys R Us and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, I got the Black Ranger. And apparently my mom had to continuously call stores and see when the new shipment was coming in so that she could get them.
Oh, my God.
My mom's great, by the way.
That's awesome. This one, at Eric Nelson 31, his was G.I. Joe Rolling Thunder, a 3-foot-long battle tank with wheels.
Damn.
Of some kind.
That sounds cool.
And G.I. Joes, for people listening that don't know, they were the ones, at least in the late 80s and 90s, were tiny as shit. So you could probably fit like 20 G.I. Joes on this thing. It looks fucking cool.
Yeah. They were like less than 4 inches or somewhere around there.
Yeah, and they had rubber bands on the inside, so if you pulled on the arms too hard, you would see the rubber band pull out, and it was freaky.
And if you want that, you can buy the U.S. Army action figures.
Yeah.
Not only is it mind control psyop shit, you're giving money to the Army. So it's like 2 birds with 1 stone.
Oh man, well, yeah. Shout out to everybody who wrote in. Hope y'all have a as good a Christmas as you did back in the childhood days with your socks and boring shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Christmas is fun still, but it's definitely gets less fun as time goes on.
Yeah, it just becomes like oh shit, I actually needed this. Thank you.
Yeah, well, you stop wanting stupid shit eventually, most of the time. I shouldn't just generalize that. Yeah. But I stopped wanting stupid shit, so yeah. I'm just like, I just want to have a nice meal and relax.
Yeah, that's the big one. I'm like, I don't know. I just like the my parents usually end up like getting weird junk food that they find throughout the year and just having a pile. So usually when I open up the stocking, it's just filled with like a weird candy bar they found when they went to Chicago or something.
Yeah, this year we're having a roommate's Christmas here.
Oh, man.
I think everybody's just staying home, I think Cooper might go to his family's house if he's back allowed there yet. But
that's so funny.
Hey, look, you can do stuff so stupid your own family turns their back on you. And this is a perfect example of that. I think they're just like, you're dumb. Figure this out for yourself.
Oh, that rules, man. I want to meet Cooper's family now. They sound great.
I've met them for like 1 second when they were moving in. They seem like stand-up people. Let me tell you. You texted me earlier if I had any Christmas stories.
Oh yeah. Do you have any Christmas memories or stories?
I don't have. There's only one I could think of, and because Christmas at my house was already, pretty low key, nothing happening too much.
Yeah.
And when this happened, I wasn't really aware of it at the time, but I found out about it later. So apparently, my dad had ruined. I guess I don't know how to say this. My dad got my mom a turkey baster for Christmas, like wrapped it up. And the reason he did that is because he had used the turkey baster in the house to like do work on a car or something, like suck up power steering fluid or something like that.
That is the most dad thing I've ever heard. I love that.
Yeah. But to make it even better, this was one of the years where we had invited my aunts, my mom's sisters, to Thanksgiving.
Oh God.
And so she opened the turkey baster and got completely embarrassed. And I didn't realize this because I was a child.
Yeah.
But she went into the other room and started crying because of how embarrassed she was.
Oh, no.
In front of her own family, her husband gave her a turkey baster. Wrapped up like it was a gift instead of just replacing it like a normal person would.
Right. It just, that's so awesome. It's like, guess what? Nothing has happened here. This is just a 1-to-1 replacement situation.
And the thing is, she may have found it funny slightly if her family wasn't there, but it definitely, like, in retrospect, it looked bad on him for sure.
Did he at least have to explain, like, why? Not that it makes it better.
I don't think. See, I didn't know. I don't know. I don't know if my mom hid the crying good enough to where people really didn't notice. But yeah, I heard about this later, and I was like, that's the funniest thing I can think of that happened with my family.
God, that rules.
Even though it's just bad feelings all over the place. Still kind of funny.
My mom had a friend come over just like a couple days ago, and they were just kind of like standing on the porch and they just fucking, exchanged gifts and stuff. And they gave each other the same bag of pecans from this pecan place. So, that was
love old ladies in the South.
Love it. Anyway, this is the last thing that I wanted to talk to you about because my whole week pretty much consists of like weird online stuff. And I got to say, this post has since been removed, but there was just a hilarious field day on Facebook Marketplace, and specifically the LA housing Facebook Market, where I had to post, and I know you've had to post as well when you're trying to find a new roommates. And so I'm just still on the LA housing Facebook group where you list stuff.
Those are some of the most fucked up posts you'll ever see on Facebook.
Dude, this one was so funny because it turned into, she took it down, but this literally, there was like 800 comments on this thing, and it was all people making fun of this post. It was, so this was the title. It was from a woman named Anastasia Gias for a cozy living spot for $700 a month in downtown LA. And
ooh, I love cozy. That's always a good word to hear when you're looking for a place.
Well, first, the funny thing was the description. She's talking about downtown LA, where this place is, and she says, the area is very busy, has lots of cafes, coffee shops, libraries, museums, and other activities around. Starbucks is across the street. And
that's such a unique experience.
Right. But I had to point out, I'm like, yeah, cafes, coffee shops, and Starbucks are the same thing.
Yeah. Also, they're all closed right now.
Yeah. And they're closed right now on top of that. But even if this was normal
times, you can just be like, I can go hang out at a coffee shop.
Yeah. But even if it was normal times, it's almost like being like, there's fast food, there's also Wendy's, and there's also McDonald's. And you're like, yeah, that's what that means.
You like coffee shops, or if you're less adventurous, we have Starbucks also.
And this woman, by the way, because I had to click on her profile because what I'm about to describe to you seemed like it was a bit almost. And so I was like, maybe this person isn't real. So I clicked on the profile, and she has one of those profile pictures where I'm like, you just pulled this off Google Images. You can't be a real person. Because it's just
but
like...
it's LA, though, because you never know. People will put their fucking headshots up as their profile picture because they're psychos.
That's true. Well, that's what this was. And I thought of that too. I was just like, man, I don't know. This could go either way. But it says that, underneath your picture, you can put where you work. So her 2 active employment situations. The first one says that she works at System Agency Kiev in the Ukraine. Which it's funny because I was like, System Agency sounds like it could be a modeling agency, or it could be like a government agent kind of a thing.
A spy network for sure. But she's too stupid and she put it on her Facebook.
Right. I work for great leader. I am system agent.
I love motherland.
Right. And then even better, the next one, present tense, works at traffic models.
All right. So she traffics immigrants.
That's what I was thinking.
Slavery.
That's exactly what I wrote too. I was just like, oh, this seems very normal that you would work at a modeling agency that in no way traffics in white slavery. That's ridiculous.
There's so many sketchy things like that in LA.
Oh, yeah.
There's just like a nondescript building in a shopping center or something, and it just says immigrants and has a phone number.
Yeah.
And it's just like people like, hey, is there zero proof you're in this country? Because if so, we got a thing for you.
Yeah, and we're definitely not going to put you into some sort of unfair labor practice as a mandatory requirement for living here. Well, there's a lot of them too where it's like these like shared rooms where you're like, oh, it's a bunk bed. There's 3 bunks, and you're like, is this a cult? Tell me this is not a cult.
Oh yeah. The sad part is I've known people who've lived in these, and it's not a cult. It's just a situation for dummies.
Oh, well,
who don't know if they'd looked around a little harder, they could find like the exact same price in a situation that wasn't insane.
Oh,
like
yeah.
4 bunks in a room, prison style.
I literally saw one with 3 tiered bunk beds, not 2 beds, 3 beds stacked on top. And I was like, I didn't even know they made that except on submarines.
Yeah, that's fucking insane. Yeah, dude, I know somebody who lived in a place like that, a comic where it was like 4 bunks in a room and multiple rooms of that. And they all shared a bathroom also.
Oh, man.
1 bathroom.
Well, so this one I want to explain. This is, so again, cozy living spot. This is it's a big, what looks to be like a big loft, somewhere downtown. So probably a refurbished loft, exposed brick. There is indeed a big oil painting of Katharine Hepburn. So whoever designed it's an asshole.
It's just like the TV shows.
Right. And in the loft, because most of the lofts downtown were originally like either textile places or some sort of horrifying factory from the 1920s, so they didn't have bathrooms on every floor, so the lofts have to have the bathrooms constructed, so it's almost like a little box off to the side where the bathroom is, and it's got a door and everything. The bed that is being advertised, though, the cozy living spot, is on top of the bathroom.
Nice.
So, and it is, I'll put this up on our Twitter at The Good Spot so people can see it. There is a rickety ass terrifying ladder that goes up to the top, and
like most lofts, let's be honest, even in a good loft, that's the case.
But you go to the top, and I mean, just imagine a bathroom that is exactly as big as a bathroom can be, like the bathrooms at our place, like it's that size. And then there's just a double bed on top of this bathroom, and no railing around the bed. So if you fall off, you just fall 12 to 15 feet down.
Damn. See, this is where sleeping on a mattress on the floor seems appealing. Yeah. And it was, you only fall 12 inches, maybe.
My favorite little detail was at the foot of the bed, there was just enough room for a bathroom mat that they had up there at the top of the ladder. So when you walked up the ladder, there was just like a little bathroom mat, and I was like, oh, that's to wipe off the blood from your knees and elbows after you fall off the bed.
Or just like, hey, the entire rest of this house is filthy. So before you lay down in the only space you have yours, then you wipe off your feet.
Yeah. And so, like I said, this post got like 800 comments of just people making fun of it. And it was glorious. Like yeah, that's a common thing in these posts a lot. When somebody posts something so ridiculous, motherfuckers will just dogpile them. Yeah, well, they tried to do that to me. I got one comment on the little pink room in my apartment, which is small, but you could still get a double bed and a nightstand, and it's got a closet. And it has 4 walls and a door. It's not on top of a bathroom. But I had one guy comment on mine like, this is so small, and I'm like, it's cheap and it's East Hollywood, man. I don't know. I'm being real upfront with what this is.
Yeah, and and the thing is, if anybody commented that on your shit, it's completely ridiculous because of the price.
Yeah,
which we will not say on this podcast.
Yeah,
but very reasonable.
Very reasonable. Yeah, exactly. So
it's always these ones where it's like, you get to live in a closet, and clearly the person renting it is just using you to pay their rent that they can't afford. And there's like another room. There's another room that's a bedroom, but has like a sheet going down the middle of it, like I Love Lucy. And there's 2 people sleeping in there. And
this one is just so undignified, because not only are you 15 feet up in the air and there's no railing and you could just roll over and die at any moment, you're also on top of the shitter. Like, it's just like, that is just the cherry on top of like where you are. You're like you're in the storage space above the fucking toilet.
Oh, that's good. You get to hear every faucet and noise that happens.
Yeah, you're like very aware of everything going on below you. It was so goddamn funny. But yeah, after like 800 comments, it was funny because there was exactly 2 people that were like defending her, and they got.
There's always 2 dumbasses who are doing the exact same thing.
Well, these sounded like they weren't even doing the same thing. There was one lady who was just like, hey, you guys are being privileged right now. I was on the brink of homelessness and would have loved to have had a place like this. And you're like, yeah, but for $700 a month to live on top of the toilet?
Yeah.
Like, my joke was, you've heard of Elf on the Shelf. Now get ready for yourself on the shelf, because that's where you fucking live. So, yeah. I was like, yeah, it's not privileged to make fun of this. It's privileged to be a person who owns an apartment and to rent out part of it on top of a shelf for an unreasonable amount. She is the villain here, not the people making fun of her.
Yeah. Pretty privileged to act like everybody should be happy about a completely fucked up living situation.
And it's illegal too, I think. I don't think you can live in a place with no railing where you could just fall off in the middle of the night, I think.
Oh, yeah. So many of the living situations in LA are completely illegal.
Yeah. Well,
and there's comics who do bits about living in a kitchen.
Oh yeah, shout out to Tom Goss at GossGoss6. One of the funniest comics in LA, lived like 4 years in a kitchen. So hey.
Yeah.
But like someone pointed that out on Twitter when I was tweeting about this. They were like, "Are you subtweeting Tom Goss?" And I was like, "No, Goss lived on solid ground, on terra firma. He wasn't 15 feet in the air." You know?
Yeah.
It's not a great situation, but it's still better than being fucking hanging above a shitter. Also, one guy got real mad at me when I posted, because there's a like above where your head would be if you were to lay down in this double bed on the top of the shitter, there's just a fucking pipe that goes right across the ceiling. And this Anastasia woman,
of course there is.
She hung a bunch of like Christmas lights from it to be kind of cutesy. And I just wrote, I was like, hey, at least they've made it really easy to hang yourself up there. And fucking some guy he was just like, not cool, man. And but then a bunch of other people like were like, no, it was funny. So I feel validated for my dark joke.
Yeah, people get mad at you. People get mad at anything on the internet. It's fine.
Yeah. And the other person that was pro Anastasia was, he was like, he was like, this is why everyone is leaving California, because it is too expensive, blah, blah, blah. If you had a better job, you could live in a better place. Like, he was that. And then you clicked on his profile and it was just this guy. He doesn't even live in LA. He's like a Chicago guy who was just like fat and bald and standing in front of the Trump building in Chicago. I was like, oh, well, fuck you, dude.
I gotta love that. Somebody who just joined the Facebook group to complain about California.
Oh, yeah.
Probably never have gone to Cal. You know,
No.
he's never been here. But
No, he's never left
knows
Chicago.
He should hate it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, anyway, that was my that was pretty much all I did with my week. Was I got some bang, I got some PBR coffee, and I laughed at Facebook.
Yeah. Send me a text later to let me know how that coffee is.
Oh, I will. I'm bracing for it. I still haven't made any more progress on this bang. I'm going to do that. But well, Sam, please tell people where they can find you on the internet.
Twitter @SlamHarder. That's where all the good content is.
Tell Cooper and Kylie and all the people there I said Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and all
right.
that. And we'll,
Cooper's not allowed in the house. We already covered this.
That's right. Well, tell Cooper you're keeping him on the balcony like a dog.
Yeah.
He's just out there with his little grill.
Yeah, we're waiting on his test results before he's allowed back in the house.
That's awesome. Well, anyway, when he gets back in, tell him I said Happy Holidays and all that, and we'll talk again next week, man.
Yeah, man. Give me a call.
Calling in now from the Commonwealth of Virginia, from the RVA, it's our friend Mike Engle. What's going on, my man?
Hi, what's going on, Rivers? How have you been?
Man, I'm making it work.
I know. Well, I mean, how does it feel to be in ground fucking zero? You know what I mean?
Oh, well, I'm not. I'm
really?
I'm in Alabama right now. So.
Oh, still there? Okay, gotcha. Okay, well, we avoided all that shit. Well, hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm now kind of reconsidering my travel plans for next month.
Right.
Truthfully.
I mean, that's absolutely understandable. I mean, geez. Yeah, when I read that today, I was like, holy shit, I hope all my LA friends are okay,
Yeah, I mean, I just got off the phone with Sam, and I'm going to be calling Carter here in just a minute. So I think, as far as I know, everybody in my immediate circle is good. And I've been chatting with the other idiots from the open mics and the comedy scene and stuff like that. So I think everybody's good. I mean, for the, almost everybody I know is taking it pretty damn serious. I'm not.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the good thing. I mean, yeah, surrounding yourself around people that like definitely are taking it seriously, and that way it just puts your mind a little more at ease. You know what I fucking mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
When chaos is all around you, it's like at least like me and my friends, like we know what's up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and speaking of friends and whatnot, how is everybody in Richmond doing? How is
They're doing. Yeah. I mean, everybody I know is hanging in there. I mean, back when the Black Lives Matter protests and stuff were going on, it was popping off, especially in the former capital of the Confederacy, as you can imagine. So
it made me very proud, actually, to see as many people on the streets being for the right thing in that town. But I mean, like I told you when I was there for the first time visiting last year, I was like, this is one of those like low key cool towns. It's like,
oh, absolutely, yeah. It's like, I mean, I think you obviously enjoyed it. I mean, I think Carter and Sam would love it because it's basically, I tell everybody, it's basically if Austin and Portland had a love child, that is Richmond, Virginia, basically.
Yeah,
like,
but
it's that,
but it hadn't been ruined by like tech yuppies like Austin.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, it goes back as far as one could say the university like fucked up the city, but I mean that's a whole separate tangent. But
right.
I mean, but other than that, it is a fucking very chill town. Especially, it reminds me of Austin in that it is the epicenter of the weird oddballs, and then surrounding it basically until you get up to like Nova and DC, it's just nothing but desperation and everything that's wrong with our country.
yeah exactly. Yeah. I haven't really spent much time in Charlottesville, but I've heard Charlottesville is kind of the same thing, so it's interesting that both of those towns were kind of separately hinges of these uprisings and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean everything has its own agenda type deal. I mean, I'm glad that we got statues down. That's amazing. But at the same time, it's like, all right, that makes, our mayor look good, and he wants to be a career politician. It's just kind of like, yeah, they need to come down. It's awesome they came down. But behind everything, there's always some sort of like, holy fuck, well, damn.
Yeah,
that's really why this is happening.
Right. Well, like every town in America, it's like, okay, cool, the statues are down now. Can we please take the keys to the tanks away from the cops?
Oh my God, absolutely, yeah.
That seems like, there was that whole bullshit where Barack Obama came out and was like, you're going to lose people with defund the police. I'm like, all right, how about a new slogan? No more tanks for cops.
Yeah.
Start there. Because that's all that means is like, hey, man, the police department of Doraville, Georgia does not need a goddamn tank. They just don't.
Absolutely. Yeah. In Richmond, a couple years, actually, it's funny that you mentioned tanks, because there was a Renegade tank. It was actually from...
Whoa!
Yeah, exactly. It was actually from some sort of like outlying, I guess like army base or something. But basically, yeah, a tank got loose. It got into the city limits and was like driving downtown and shit.
Holy shit, dude!
Yeah, absolutely. It was insane. So,
man, y'all must have a good PR department, because I feel like everybody knows about the damn San Diego tank from the 90s. I never heard of the damn Richmond tank.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was, oh man, that was one for the books. I mean, all the memes and shit that came out of that. It was just internet gold for like at least a week.
Damn, where's their Killdozer documentary on Netflix?
I know.
I need that. I need to know the story.
I mean, again, because it was military related. I mean, I'm sure all the good juicy details are well under wraps. I mean, but very clearly, whoever it was intoxicated on something. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Well, the San Diego one, the famous San Diego one, started because the guy was doing a bunch of crystal meth and was having conversations with both God and a dragon at the bottom of a gold mine that he was digging in his backyard.
Oh, wow. Perfect.
And he was getting the tank to drive the tank to City Hall to tell everyone what God and the dragon had told him. And then they killed him. They fucking...
Oh, no. We'll never find out now.
What they only know that because he was talking to one of his meth head friends who had a good memory. He was like, oh, yeah, he was saying something about fighting a dragon at the bottom of his mine.
That sounds super contradictory of meth head with a good memory.
Yeah. It's like, man, what a shame.
Exactly. We'll never know, but one day the dragon will speak to you or I, and we'll know it all.
Oh my God, man. Jesus. I wanted to run this by you because we like to cover local stories, and I was just wondering. I was like, what's happening in old Richmond right now?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, I hear you guys talk about Citizen all the time, but I mean,
do y'all have Citizen?
I mean, we do, but I just have not downloaded it or looked into it at all. But
man.
I mean, exactly. Yeah. I mean, melee weapons and stuff. It seems lit, but I don't think it would be super lit, especially where I am particularly. It's like, well, it doesn't seem worth it. But but yeah, since you looked into it, what is going on?
Well, I just wanted to float a name and see if you can tell me if you've heard of this person.
Okay.
Virginia State Senator Amanda Chase.
Okay. It's familiar. Yeah, it's familiar. Yeah, but what's going on?
So she represents the State Senate District 11, which is just south of Richmond, Chesterfield. She is going to be a 2021 gubernatorial candidate. So she's planning to run for governor of Virginia. So this week it came out that because she refuses to wear a mask during government sessions, they have put her in a plexiglass box. And here's where this is why this is dangerous, because putting someone just in a plexiglass box like it's the fucking Hague, like she's Saddam Hussein or something. They put her in this plexiglass box. Now here's why it's dangerous, is because that in and of itself is, everybody can laugh at her because she's like an anti-mask freak, and you're like, oh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is how she's spinning it. She has started calling the box her square of freedom.
Oh, wow. Yep. Oh, yeah. Because, being in a box screams freedom. What?
Yeah. So on January 20th of this year, Chase participated in a massive pro-gun rally in Richmond. I'm sure you remember that shit.
Right, absolutely, yes.
Right before the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
So the event served as a meeting ground for several extremist groups, among them the Civil War fantasists, the Boogaloo movement.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, when I mentioned like the surrounding area, that's they all just come from like outside the city into the city for like specific things like that. So it's like, oh my god. But, yeah.
She gave a speech at the rally, standing next to the leader of the far-right paramilitary group, the Proud Boys, as well as next to Joshua Macias, a member of the group called Vets for Trump. Macias and another man, Antonio Lamato, were by Chase's side as quote-unquote security when she announced her gubernatorial run this year. So she is very similar to how the Grateful Dead would hire the Hells Angels to save money on security.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
She is hiring fucking Proud Boys and Boogaloo weirdos.
Exactly. I mean, you know, you stick with who you know type deal, like, and you hire your friends. So
yeah,
that's like how that goes. I mean,
so during this speech, by the way, there was a huge flag in the background promoting QAnon, which is cool.
Oh, great. Yeah, great. Cute.
And
oh my god,
this is what she said at this. The reason that she brought these people, she said, "I was told that," and this is a quote, "I was told that I was Antifa's #1 target and that I would be dismembered, but I chose to go anyway."
Oh my god. Okay.
I was like, lady, don't flatter yourself yet. You're not
exactly,
a huge
yeah.
national
Well,
figure.
Listen, as the president of Antifa, I have to say,
local chapter 821.
Yeah, exactly. I have to say, not even on our fucking radar. So
yeah, Antifa.
Oh my god.
Yeah, local chapter 42069.
That's me.
Yeah, dog. Yeah. So anyway, this lady, there's a whole article about her on the Daily Beast, but I was just gonna see if you'd heard of her because I was like, well, this is pretty fucking local.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And I mean, geez, the running for governor thing. I mean, listen, more power to her. I mean, Northam's gotten owned on so many levels. It's just kind of like. Yeah, but at least, you know, he's a doctor. So on the base level, it's like, okay, like anything COVID related, you know, it's going to be at least livable. We can live under, you know, these sort of guidelines, but literally everything else is just kind of, okay, fuck it.
Yeah.
It's just like, again, we're like, I don't know. I mean, obviously Pennsylvania also has this problem, but being a Commonwealth, it's just like, because of the independent city-state thing, it's just basically like, all right, what is Richmond doing? Basically, the entire like state looks towards, okay, well, what's Richmond doing? What are they up to? And they kind of are forced to follow suit. But again, because it's just so liberal, it's like, okay, that's going to reflect more of like what's going on in Northern Virginia and DC. It's just kind of like, all right, we're all just pointing fingers at each other, basically.
Yeah, exactly. This article talks about, so those two people I mentioned, the QAnon weirdos that are running security for him, this is talking about them. To call LaMotta a conspiracy theorist and a Chase fan is an understatement. The Virginia man, a self-described martial arts expert, which... fucking give me all of it right into my veins. I need to know everything about this man.
Yeah, no, it's probably, you know, it's just Jean-Claude Van Damme's like bastard son, basically.
Yeah, dude, anytime someone is a self-described martial arts expert, you can bet that they are going to be one of the funniest just people of all time.
Absolutely.
There's nothing funnier you can be than a self-described martial arts expert. So anyway, he unsurprisingly tweeted hand-drawn anti-Semitic comics showing Ralph Northam participating in a baby-eating plot. And he also depicted Amanda Chase, the senator, dressed in a karate uniform, beating up Northam with a pair of brass balls. So
I mean, listen, yeah. What does it stand at? What whatever the fuck Trump said, stand down, stand by, whatever.
Yeah, stand back and stand by. Yeah, exactly.
That's what this karate master is gonna do. He's gonna it's gonna be him. He's gonna bring out Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee. They're just gonna.
Well, and it's funny because he's, this is already like proving my point of when he says he's a self-described martial arts expert. He's also an amateur political cartoonist, which is like even dorkier.
Right, super dorky, and I mean, leaning anti-Semitic. I mean, you definitely have a built-in audience, but I mean, is that the niche you really want to carve? I don't know.
Right. So these associations would come back to trouble Chase in November, days after the election, when Trump's loss was becoming clear and his fans accused Democrats of theft. Macias and LaMotta were arrested on gun charges in Philadelphia. These are the guys that got arrested trying to drive to Philly.
Oh my God.
Chase initially downplayed her connection to the men after their arrests, but when they were identified as her occasional bodyguards, and now she describes them, and this has to hurt the most after drawing a whole fucking cartoon for this woman, she now describes them simply as dedicated volunteers who started providing her security at the January gun rally. So now she's been like, I don't know these motherfuckers. These are simps.
Yeah, exactly. From Proud Boys straight to simps. Like,
yep.
You're not past go. You're still a simp.
She says that she thought their arrests were due to a miscommunication. Quote, I think people misunderstood their intent and their purpose. I haven't talked to them in months. which is so funny. It's like, I assume they didn't know what they were doing. Also, I've never seen these men.
Yeah, clearly they're fuck ups, and
yeah.
Don't look at my emails.
She says they are peace-loving people who love their country, and they always carry guns. I mean, I always carry. And if you Google this woman, there are a bunch of pictures of her at the Richmond rally with like a lanyard with like a giant like M4 AR-15 or something attached to it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say peace sign, because very clearly that's what she's about,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. Or just like, like the strap has like flowers or whatever, like,
yeah, it's a lay.
Yeah.
Although I guess that would go with the Boogaloo theme of the Hawaiian shirts.
They've appropriated the Hawaiian shirt.
As a fat man, I do not fucking appreciate that at all.
I know, god damn it. They're coming with bowler hats next. I mean,
bowler hats are fine. I've never needed a bowler hat, but sometimes you eat too much for 28 years and you need a Hawaiian shirt.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Oh god. And I mean, big dogs. I mean, yeah, Hawaiian shirts, big dogs.
Oh yeah,
one still exists, yeah, and one does not. So it's like, all right.
First they came for Tommy Bahama, and I said nothing. But yeah, so on July 4th, she attended a gun rally organized by Mike Dunn, the teenage leader of a Boogaloo group in Virginia.
Wow.
Which, I mean, look, whatever. Let's say what you will about gun control. One of them, I think we could all agree, is don't give it teenagers guns. That's,
yeah. I mean, that's how you get. Yeah, exactly. That's how you get. Your Spencers. Your. Yeah, exactly. You get all of them that way. And I was going to say your Shapiros. Like, yeah, like that's how they are born, from teenage militias. I mean, we saw how well that went. So yeah.
Chase got in a fight with a police officer last year over a parking space. So what? She's a cab, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, fighting those parking tickets.
Yeah, a police report said that she accused the officer of violating "quote unquote" women's rights for not letting her park in a restricted spot.
Oh my god! What was going on that day? It's just like, my flow is so heavy. Get the fuck out of the way. Yeah.
I mean, she's obviously a ghoul, but you kind of have to be like, mad respect. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, what would Susan B. Anthony say about me trying to park at this Piggly Wiggly? Yeah. She would tell you suck, sir.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm doing this for women's rights. In the same conversation, Oh, wait. So even though in the same conversation she called a Senate clerk Miss Piggy, who gets to park her fat ass up front. So this was at the Capitol. Okay, I take that back. This was not at the grocery store.
Okay.
This was at the Capitol. Oh, my God. Chase later said that the police reports look like they were written by a Democrat.
Oh, you don't say.
Oh my God. Yeah. So anyway, so that's what's happening in south of Richmond there.
Oh my God, the updates. Thank you, Rivers.
Well, because I looked up Richmond thinking I'm gonna find something funny, like a guy couldn't get a raccoon out of his trailer, so he got a flamethrower and burned the house down, or
Oh God, no! Again, that's mostly the surrounding area.
Right. But I was like looking up Richmond, and I was just kind of scrolling through stories. Then I saw this whole thing about the freedom box that this woman has to be in because she won't wear a fucking mask.
The first location you mentioned, Chesterfield, earlier. That is the burning of raccoons and whatnot.
Oh, that's her district. Yeah.
Like it literally exactly. It literally starts right there and just keeps going.
Yeah. Well, the other story that I wanted to cover with you specifically, and we'll get into this, but I think I just want to talk about and kind of blow smoke up your ass about your band for a while,
thank you.
Because Mike is in a band called the Alex Jonestown Massacre that we have played on this program a bunch, and you sent me your EP a couple years back with I think 2 songs on it. That was just fucking incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And so I listened the hell out of that, but now you have put out a full record this summer called Run on Death Sentence that is, I'm going to talk about it more on Kyle Clark's This Is Rad year-end wrap-up, because it is legit one of my favorite records of the year. I've listened to it a bajillion times, and I fucking love it, dude.
Thank you, my dude. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it took so long to finish because it was basically done in March, but then the tail just became so much longer. It wasn't until August till we could get it out, because going in the studio, literally it was like one at a time type deal. And like, so I mean, it's a tough time to be creative, but I mean, again, like, we'll talk about it later, but the newest song we just put out, like, we're learning how to record and stuff, especially drums is so hard to fucking try to record. So thank you, Rivers, for the kind words. We appreciate it. Cause I mean, we're just trying to do music because obviously everyone is bummed the fuck out, and we're not even literally everything that any money we're getting right now is going to, charities and such, because I mean, everyone's so fucking exhausted with the year and it's been horrible. But thank you so much for being so nice, Rivers.
It's so fucking good, dude. It's just a solid fucking rock and roll record. If people just want some, I mean, I listen to it when I'm driving. That's usually when I like to get my rock and roll music going. Absolutely. Is when I'm driving around.
And I mean, and it's one of those ones where it's just like, it's got a little something for everyone type deal, and that's what that's what we all like. I mean, we all listen to everything, so it's not just like a straight ahead fucking this is punk, it's going to be fast 100% of the time. That is not the case with this. It's good, and I appreciate you, Rivers. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's great. Well, and the reason I brought it up, I mean, obviously we're going to play your new single at the end of the show here.
Awesome.
Which I can't wait to hear. I actually have not listened to it yet. I'm specifically waiting till I edit the show, and then I'm going to just fucking let it hit me.
Oh my God, awesome.
But I mean, I like 100% of your other stuff, so I'm sure I like this too. But this record, I mean, the first track is called ACAB Summer. Like, this is a fucking...
Well, I mean, that one, just a little bit of history on that one. Basically, until the record was basically ready to go, we had been calling it My Landlord, because that's a lyric within the song. But then, looking back on everything that's happened this past summer, it was not Hot Girl Summer 2020. This was ACAB Summer.
Yeah.
Everyone finally learned what that meant and was all about it. So yeah, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So that was that. But yeah.
I think the other track I played on here is called Mal Marx and Maximum Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
Which is
so you know where
one.
we stand.
Yeah. No. This is a fucking very.
If that little tidbit wasn't just exactly, very anti-landlord.
Yeah. And actually, just in time for the holidays, there's also the protracted People's War on Christmas.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you got couple of good holiday tunes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's including this new one as well. But basically, a lot of people think we're a joke band, and then when they actually listen and realize that we're serious, like because of our names, like a play on another band, it's like, what is really happening here? But I mean, I guess Alex Jonestown is basically like, we like conspiracies, like as you all on the show do as well. They're fun. They're great.
They used to be fun. Now they've been ruined.
Exactly. When things, it's just a combination of like when things get way too extreme in one direction for the worse, you get things like, Alex Jones, and obviously we love socialism, communism, but obviously Jonestown. Completely like in the extreme of that and not good. So
yeah, exactly.
Smash them together, and that's the band name.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, I mean, I met you through comedy and stuff like that, and then you sent me the kind of 2-song single or EP, I guess. And the first time I heard the band name, I was like, I'm playing this regardless of what it sounds like because I want to say the Alex Jonestown Massacre because that's hilarious. Because I'm a big Brian Jonestown Massacre fan, and
absolutely, but nothing like it. But yeah,
right. But I just found it hilarious, and then I actually listened to it. I was like, oh, this is fucking dope. Like these guys are great. So.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, some people just can't get past the band name, and we're like, well, fuck it, we're so niche anyway. Whatever.
Hey, man. Hey, it's all good. But appreciate it. The reason I wanted to bring it up is because I saw a story. I knew I was going to be talking to you, and then I saw a story that I was like, I think. I'll cut to the chase. I want to talk about Eric Clapton.
Absolutely. Yeah. You sent me that. It's literally just a pile of dog shit. But yeah, I guess.
Buddy.
Explain. Yeah. Explain the collaboration.
Okay. So I'll just read the headline. And the headline, and this is from Vanity Fair, Eric Clapton and Van Morrison's anti-mask anthem. So,
oh
wow! Which
buckle up.
The whole thing is just a fucking nightmare. So I'll just read this. And I love the way that the Vanity Fair article starts. Eric Clapton and Van Morrison, both age 75 and therefore 220 times more at risk from getting COVID than compared to people 18 to 29, have released a blues rock track raging against public health codes. So I like that they just stuck it to him like, yo, sit the fuck down, you old ass fucking assholes.
Yeah, there are rules in place specifically for people your age.
Yeah. And this song is, I guess I'll play a little clip of it here just so people can hear it.
Magna Carta, Bill of Rights, the Constitution, what's it worth? You know they're gonna grind us down until it really hurts. Is this a sovereign nation or just a police state? You better look out, people, before it gets too late.
It sounds like shit.
It literally is just the most generic blues riff of all time. Dude, and Clapton pins the fucking lyrics on Van Morrison. Van Morrison's a piece of shit too, but at the same time, it's like, let me drag this other fucker down.
Yeah, well, I'll say this: they should both be ashamed. And I don't even
absolutely.
I revere Van Morrison. I'm pretty middle on the road of Eric Clapton. I don't really give that much of a shit. I like Cream a lot, but solo Eric Clapton, it's like, I don't know, give or take, whatever, who cares? But so this song. It sounds like you got like a fucking Casio keyboard and just hit the blues setting.
Blues generic setting, yeah.
Like it's so unnotable musically that's the shocking part.
And yeah,
me.
Exactly. And I don't even know what lyric they end it on, but literally they end it with, again, just their like anti-mask propaganda into a solo. And I'm like, you have not uplifted anyone. Like, what?
No.
This was not earned at all. It's just like, all right, I'm still doing Eric Clapton things.
Yeah, it's it's
terrible.
Before I even get into the lyrics, I have to just say the music sucks so bad.
Absolutely.
And that's before you even get into the whole anti-mask thing and anti-lockdown thing.
Right.
The name of the song is Stand and Deliver, which to to an American, that equals Edward James Olmos. Like, that's an uplifting movie about, I got to get through to these kids. Like, that's where that comes from. Is Stand and Deliver. But in the British sense, stand and deliver is a phrase that is traditionally used by a highwayman commanding victims to hand over their valuables. So the full phrase is stand and deliver your money or your life. So to a British ear, stand and deliver is kind of like what we would think of as like reach for the sky. Like,
right.
Like you're getting robbed,
Right.
The line suggests that Van Morrison and Eric Clapton feel that governments scrambling to keep their populations alive are somehow stealing from them. The track concludes with the line, Dick Turpin wore a mask too. And I looked this up. Dick Turpin was a famous British criminal known for highway robbery in the 1700s.
Okay.
So, this is a song for almost nobody.
Right, exactly, yeah. Like, that'd be like writing like a modern like Jack the Ripper analogy for something completely unrelated again. Yeah,
right. But this was shocking to me. Earlier this year, Van Morrison referred to preventative measures as pseudoscience, and Stand and Deliver marks his 4th anti-lockdown song.
Oh my God. Okay, so he's just been going crazy during this entire thing.
Which I should point out, his, one of his classic albums, Astral Weeks, I think only has 8 songs on it. So he's halfway through his best album in terms of number of songs here about COVID.
Oh, wow.
So this is his 4th anti-lockdown song. The other ones are called Born to Be Free, As I Walked Out, and No More Lockdown. So I like how subtle that is.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, subtlety kind of goes out the window when, you gotta make an anti-mask statement. It's just like, okay, this is what has to happen.
Yeah. And Van Morrison, by the way, had a song in 2005 called They Sold Me Out, which is one of his kind of like anti-music industry songs.
Okay.
But this one makes repeated references to shekels, which don't really have to be a professor of Jewish studies to understand. That one there.
Right.
It's just like, they're hoarding my shekels, this music industry. Do you get it?
Yeah. Exactly. His hat's just like halfway off his head. He's got the he's like holding on to them super hard.
Yeah. And like I said, man, I wish this wasn't happening because fucking Moondance and Astral Weeks, 2 of the best records ever made. I fucking love Van Morrison. Into the Mystic is like a song that gives me goosebumps and makes me feel things every time I hear it. So I hate that he's this guy.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, artists, literally any musical artist, they exist to let you down. That's basically what they're going to do.
Especially if they live to 75. You're like, man.
Absolutely.
That is choppy waters.
Dead. Yeah, exactly. With the amount of drugs that it's been documented that you have done, you should not physically be alive right now.
Right.
Yet here you are. And yet you still choose to be a piece of shit. like I've been wronged on so many levels.
Yeah, man. Well, I didn't know about that song from 2005 until I was researching it today. But like, I was real mad that I missed this show. About 2 years ago, Tom Jones was playing at the Greek Theater in Hollywood. And I should have gone and I just couldn't afford the ticket or whatever it was. And I didn't go. And like, Tom Jones brought out Van Morrison to sing with him and shit. I was fuck. Like, that sounds incredible. And now I'm imagining the next time they do that, and he's going to actually get booed like he's fucking Hollywood Hogan or something.
Right, exactly, yeah.
He's like,
or even worse, he's like, and here's Van Morrison and Eric Clapton to sing their big hit.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, that's what I want to say about Van Morrison is like, he's trash now, but I fucking love those records.
Fair enough. Okay. That's valid. Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly.
Now,
it sucks.
Now, Eric Clapton has always sucked, and I don't even necessarily mean musically. I just mean, like, everything you ever hear about the guy, people are just like, he's just an unpleasant man to be around. And not only that, and this is why I wanted to talk to you, the member of an anti-racist punk band specifically, is because whether you realize it or not, the legacy that y'all carry on in the Alex Jonestown Massacre, in many ways, you could trace right back to Eric Clapton, weirdly, because Eric Clapton is one of the most influential musicians in history, and not for a reason you would want to be. So On August 5th, 1976, Eric Clapton was standing on stage in Birmingham, England, and he said this. This was his speech that he was giving in between, one assumes, Lay Down Sally and Crossroads. Do we have any foreigners in the audience tonight? If so, please put up your hands. So, where are you? Well, wherever you are, I think you should all leave. And I don't just mean the concert hall. I mean leave our country. I don't want you here. I don't want you in the room. I don't want you in the country. Listen to me, man. I think we should send them all back. Stop Britain from becoming a black colony. Get the foreigners out. And I'm going to omit some words here because there's some fucking words here. Get the foreigners out. Keep Britain white. The blacks and Arabs and fucking Jamaicans do not belong here. We don't fucking want them. This is England. This is a white country. We don't want any black, and then there's two right in a row there, hard ones, living here. We need to make it clear to them that they are not welcome. England is for white people, man. This is Great Britain, a white country. What is happening to us, for fuck's sake? Throw the blank out. Keep Britain white. So the tough bit about that, aside from all of it, is that this is 1976, and Eric Clapton, about a year and a half earlier, had a hit with I Shot the Sheriff, who were very much written by a Jamaican guy named Bob Marley.
Right.
So, first of all, and he's basically standing on top of the work of Robert Johnson and Muddy Waters and all of those black blues musicians that he kind of ripped off in Cream and in his early career. Like that's his whole thing, is just stealing from B.B. King and shit. So for him to say that is wild, right?
Right, yeah. Eric Clapton needs to listen to the Specials, man. Like, what is going on?
Well, so interesting you say that. The Specials are going to come in here in just a second because this shit is wild. I mean, this is fucking wild. So, and also I should point out that he kept repeating the phrase, keep Britain white. Keep Britain white is the slogan of the British Fascist Party called the National Front. And it was also during this rant that Eric Clapton expressed support of the extreme right-wing anti-immigration politician Enoch Powell. So this is the rest of the rant where he says, listen to me, man. I think we should vote for Enoch Powell. Enoch's our man. I think Enoch's right. I think we should send them all back. Stop Britain from becoming a black colony. Get the foreigners out. I used to be into dope, and now I'm into racism. It's much heavier, man.
What?
and the funny thing is, this is like the proto example of how you try to do damage control after saying some crazy racist shit.
Right. But at the very end there, it's basically just like, I can't get a boner anymore is basically what he's saying. Like, I used to fuck a lot, and now it won't even get hard.
Yeah. He says, this is the end of it. Fucking Saudis taking over London. Britain is becoming overcrowded, and Enoch will stop it and send them back. We need to make clear they are not welcome. England is for white people, man. We are a white country. And so... all of that is fucking wild, but the line, I used to be into dope and now I'm into racism.
Yeah,
that shit is fucking nuts. And after this happened, like I said, this is like the proto example of how to do damage control after saying some racist shit, because he was later like, I just wanted to announce that I am an alcoholic.
No shit.
That was his like excuse, which is like so similar to Spacey being like, yeah, I raped a bunch of people, but I'm gay now. You're just like, that doesn't fucking mean anything. You said this shit.
Exactly, yeah.
Carl Phillips, who is a novelist and a professor of English at Yale University, was a teenager at the time of this rant, and he was actually in the crowd. Carl also happens to be Caribbean, and he immigrated to England as a child. So this is a literature professor recalling the evening. He says, when he started talking about Enoch Powell and how Enoch was right, I felt embarrassed, and I could tell that my best friend I was with felt embarrassed, and we really couldn't talk about it. But the thing that made it really awful, aside from the actual racism of the comments and aside from the hostility that he was giving out, the venom from the stage, was that he would play a couple of songs, and I'd think, oh, thank God, it's over. It's gone away now. It's not coming back. We've dealt with it. And then he would start up again. So he was doing this the whole show. It's not like he just said some offhand shit. He would play 2 songs and then he'd be racist for like 5 minutes, and then he'd play 2 songs and then he'd be racist for 5 minutes. It went on and on. That's why so much of this is so heavily quoted, is because unlike America, the English like review concerts. So there's reporters there taking notes and shit. So that's why we have this.
Like it's like you do the repartee in between some songs like Blink-182 whatever, but instead of Dick and Fark jokes, it's just blatant racism.
Right. It's
coming at
foreigners.
you whether you like it or not.
Yeah, we're gonna build a wall, a beautiful wall. So Carl ends up by saying, so it was a betrayal in a way that is kind of primal, in a way that only an adolescent could feel it. I never wanted to listen to Eric Clapton again after that. So fair.
Yeah.
Very fair. So yeah, he's like a Caribbean guy. He's like the guy he's talking about, just in the crowd like, yo, I paid to be here, man.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I just wanted to hear cocaine. Shut up. So Clapton would try to dismiss the whole thing in an interview with Sounds magazine later that year. Quote, I thought it was quite funny, actually. I don't know much about politics. I don't even know if it would be good or bad for Enoch to get in. I don't even know who the prime minister is now. He laughed. I just don't know what came over me that night. It must have been something that happened that day. So, first of all, that's kind of the perfect rich guy boomer excuse. Is like, oh, I don't even know what's happening with politics.
But it definitely happened during the day, because I totally didn't do something people usually do at night during the day.
Yeah. He has since gone on to claim that he was drunk, which is the template for later racist. He also claimed at some point that a Pakistani dignitary groped his wife backstage, and that's what set him off.
Oh, wow.
Which I'm like, okay, that's like just like a weird thing to happen, but I don't know. I don't know.
Well, yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know what really triggered my racism
was a guy from Pakistan grabbed my wife, and then I went on a rant about it for the whole show.
I mean, that's all it takes, apparently.
Yeah. Oh, and this is his other quote, which is also perfect. Like, I don't see color bullshit, where he says, when I listen to music, man, I was disinterested where the players came from or what color their skin was. And then he says, interesting then that 10 years later I would be labeled a racist. So that was in his autobiography where he was trying to say like, yeah, we didn't care what people were. And then he's like, still got that, he's still pissed about this. That people
but I mean,
accurately said he was racist.
Absolutely. But people still do that like literally right now on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. I got tons of black friends.
Exactly, yeah. Someone's using that exact line right now. I'm sure that gets typed per minute, at least once or twice a minute. I mean, out of all the people that exist.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, this is where the turnaround happens. So meanwhile, members of the agitprop theater group Cartoon Clowns, Red Saunders, Roger Huddle, Joe Refford, and Pete Bruno had come up with an idea earlier in 1976 to form an anti-racist group in response to what they saw as growing xenophobia and racism in the UK. According to Huddle, quote, it remained just an idea until August of 1976 when Eric Clapton made a declaration of support for Enoch Powell. The group responded by writing a letter to New Musical Express expressing their opposition to Clapton's remarks. They claimed that these were more disgusting because he had had one of his first big hits with I Shot the Sheriff. And this is their quote in New Musical Express. Quote, come on, Eric, own up. Half your music is black. Who shot the sheriff, Eric? It sure as hell wasn't you. So at the end of the letter, they called for people to help form a movement called Rock Against Racism, and they received hundreds of eager replies from fans who recognized the hypocrisy and wanted to proclaim the black roots of the music that they loved. The next year, Rock Against Racism gained a bigger profile as well as a political context when the Anti-Nazi League was established in 1977. So together, the Anti-Nazi League and Rock Against Racism were able to build a massive movement against British British Nazis. And so they actually started having these concerts. And so keep in mind, any punk rocker, the year 1977 should send up a lot of antennas.
Absolutely.
So that's who's doing these fucking concerts. So they have these gigantic festivals all over the UK. The carnival in Victoria Park in London featured The Clash, Tom Robinson, and Steel Pulse, and it attracted 85,000 people. So
that is fucking massive.
They had another carnival in the north of England with 25,000 who showed up to see the Buzzcocks, Graham Parker and the Rumour, and Misty and Roots. And they also had a fanzine called Temporary Hoarding, which is still today known as the most revolutionary cultural paper in Britain. So these festivals also led to the popularization of a lot of two-tone ska bands like the Specials, which is where they got featured. And I wanted to mention this because I thought this was fucking cool. It is said that the famous black and white checkerboard pattern seen on a lot of ska merch comes from this era and is meant to represent black and white musicians playing together, standing for unity between the races. So again,
or it just means you're in 7th grade and you're really lame. That's
hey, either way. Hey, man.
I know. Exactly. I never outgrew it, but again, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so like I said before, Eric Clapton, probably one of the most influential artists in British history, but not because of his music. Eric Clapton is such an asshole. He popularized an entire genre of music that showed up to be like, hey, fuck you, Eric.
Exactly, yeah.
So, this is just part of an ongoing legacy of Eric Clapton being a fucking douchebag. Van Morrison's the one that shocked me, and apparently he's just been like this, and I just didn't notice.
Oh, God. Well, maybe it's one of those things, Rivers, where it's just like, I can't follow him anymore because he has just let me down so much. Like, for example, like our lead singer, Patrick, loves Morrissey on a level that is just like, he is his God, but it's just unforgivable. And what Patty says about him is basically, it's irresponsible journalism to ask Morrissey's opinion on anything at this point.
Yeah, no, that's true. Well, it's the same. I mean, as I've said on the show many times, I'm like, I can't stop liking Kanye West's first 4 albums. I just can't.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But I mean, again, and then you just look at the president shit and you're like, oh shit, God, he was going through something and they were just putting cameras on.
Right.
It just sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know why Morrissey is the way he is, but you're right. Just don't ask him about anything.
Yeah, exactly. But also someone that horrible can literally relate to fucking, hundreds of thousands of people and feel the same things. And it's just like, goddamn, humans are complex, horrible creatures.
Yeah, that's wow. That's it. That's our two. That's our two adjectives.
Episode. Merry Christmas.
That's our two adjectives. Hot damn. Yeah. Complex and horrible.
Yeah.
Well, this is our little holiday Christmas episode. So I was going to ask you if you've got any weird or interesting Christmas stories from days of yore.
Absolutely. So I'll take you back on this one. It was a Christmas coming back from college. Okay. So the parents, they got 2 kids out of the house. They have the house to themselves now. Things are very new, but it was probably like my sophomore year going back to Matthews County, Virginia. Population 2,000. It is.
They love the Freedom Square lady over there.
Of course. Yeah, yeah, exactly. They're all about Miss Freedom Square. Literally my high school was across from a cow pasture. That's what we're talking about. Exactly. Yeah. And so I literally through this entire experience thought my parents were going to get a divorce. And it literally the inciting incident happened right when I got there. So I get there and apparently the washing machine was fucking up and it's on story number 2. On floor number 1 is a garage area, and directly where the washing machine is underneath it was the freezer. So obviously if that gets wet or fucked up in any way, we don't have food for Christmas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but the way my dad reacted to hearing this news, I think basically my mom told me, go downstairs and get something from the room with the freezer in it. And so I go down there, there's water fucking everywhere. And it's we need a dehumidifier down there immediately to help deal with this. And so I go back upstairs. I'm like, yeah, this happened. And then Dad found out. He reacted away and his voice went in such a register that basically it'd be like if this happened like now, like during a pandemic is how we were like, you literally fucked us. We were going to starve to death. It's just like, just a high register of, and my mom, I'm half Italian. So my dad's like, Rita, like it kind of like ascended. And like my sister, she got there in a separate car from me. And so I just go outside and I'm like, Liz, I think this is it. And like, she was trying to quit cigarettes. And so I'm just like, here, have a cigarette with me. Let me explain what's going on. But that was, but obviously like it fizzled out. And it was just one of those things where it's like, are my parents going to be okay? I mean, they have no reason to stay together anymore.
Oh, God.
Like, it was, but obviously, like, they chilled out and realized, all right, the kids are here. We gotta be on our behavior. But anyway, so yeah, the time I thought my parents were almost going to have a divorce was pretty noteworthy.
Yeah. Oh, man. God, that like late life divorce, too. That's what
I'm saying. Then it's kind of like, did they ever love each other? Was it literally just for us? Like,
right.
Jesus. Start spiraling, but yeah.
Oh, Lord. Well, let's tell people about this damn song we're about to play.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So to just intro the song, I'm not the biggest Hold Steady fan. A lot of people love the Hold Steady though, but again, written by Patrick Miller, who actually does, I want to plug this, just a little one, because we have so many of the cassettes that they did. He actually, 3/4 of my band, I should say, all comedians. So I'm the only active one. But Patrick Miller actually has a split with Mary Jane French, actually.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, absolutely. It still exists on Bandcamp, and they just do 15 minutes each, and it's amazing. It was Gallery 5 here in Richmond is where they recorded it, so just a little quick plug for that. But no, Patty wrote this song, big Hold Steady fan, and I mean, I think he nailed it, number one. And number two, it's just a rocker. Like, honestly, like, if you like any of our other stuff, you'll probably like this as well. And yeah, it's just our Christmas song. We're like, all right, we wanted to do something nice for Punks for Presents, which is a local benefit that didn't get to happen this year. It's just a bunch of local Richmond punk bands covering other punk bands from the past. We've done it 3 times, and we do a different band every time, and that's obviously helped us get better as a band. It's just an awesome thing that we do for the Children's Hospital of Richmond. So if you go on our Bandcamp, it's pay what you want, but anything you donate, we're putting it towards Punks for Presents, and we'd really appreciate if people check it out.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Well,
absolutely,
dude. Well, yeah. What? Tell people where they can find you on the internet.
Okay. Hell yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I am a stand-up comic. I got all sorts of funnies and stuff. Follow me on all the social media at Engletron, ENGLETR0N, and just told you about the new Alex Jonestown Massacre. Oh Massive Night is the name of the song. Check that out for Punks for Presents. And our album this year, thank you so much for hyping it up, Rivers. Like, right on Death Sentence. We put a lot of hard work into it.
It's so good. Oh my God.
Thank you. Yeah, you can stream it on, it's on all the platforms. You can stream it on Spotify or whatever. And I actually put out a comedy album this year, recorded at Castleberg Brewery. And it is called Personal Pizza. You just type in my name, Mike Engle Comedy. It'll pop up there for you. It's a 30-minute, or actually 40 minutes I went, comedy album, and I love it. And honestly, thank you so much for having me, Rivers. I remember when you were about to leave, I had to leave. We went to an open mic after the show we went to.
Oh, so fun, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, that was such a blast. Had a great evening. But I think about our hug like at least once a month, dude, because I'm like, when the fuck is that ever gonna happen for anyone or any of my comedy friends? I know
one of these days. So hey,
you got to cherish these moments. Yeah, exactly. Vaccines right around the corner. We'll make it happen again. And thank you so much for fucking having me, Rivers. This was a blast.
Oh man, of course. Well, yeah, thanks for talking to me, and we'll chat again soon, man. This was awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Calling in now from Disgraceland Studios in East Hollywood, it's our friend Carter Glascock. How's it going, man?
Oh, pretty good, all things considered, just
it's Christmas time in the city. The morgues are absolutely overflowing. It's terrifying.
Let's just say they're stuffed like a Christmas turkey.
Yeah, it's freaky, man.
Which is a very, very grim way of saying, yes, I'm scared. It's scary.
yeah, man. Because I'm crashing with my parents at the moment, I now get to watch the evening news every night because they're adults and they do that. And they try to make LA sound as scary as humanly possible every single night.
It's like one of those things where you can't really tell just from being here. I mean, you can tell everyone's bummed.
Right. Yeah.
Like, you can tell everyone's bummed out, but the official it getting starting to see signs of it, you do see more ambulances and shit, and you're like, oh fuck. And because then it's a stark reminder of what's going on.
Well, I mentioned this to you off air last week, but now I can officially talk about it. And that is that my family had a COVID scare last week. The whole thing was fucking wild because basically my parents they got their hair cut together, and they specifically went to this one barber who would set up a private appointment so they could just go in, just the two of them, get the haircut and fucking leave. Problem with that is a private appointment is only good for two people if the hairdresser doesn't have COVID, which she did.
Yeah, and I bet it was one of those things where she didn't know she had it for a while.
No, well, they went and got their haircut 2 Fridays ago. So now they got tested. I'll talk about that in a second, but now it's been 2 weeks. So officially out of the woods as far as the scare goes, but yeah, they got their haircut. And then I think 4 days later, on the Monday or Tuesday after that, the hairdresser called and was like, "Ooh, my bad."
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I don't even blame anyone for getting it. You know what I mean? It's a fucking pandemic.
Well, no,
I don't blame people for getting it, except for Giuliani and the Trumps.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. Any
that shit is funny if they get it.
Yeah, but if you're like a fascist who's actually holds a position in government, then I'm gonna laugh at you if you get it. But anyway, my parents told me, they were like, "Hey, by the way, we were exposed to this person." And when they told me, my immediate thought was like, "Oh, well, we'll all because we don't, obviously aren't experiencing symptoms at the moment, but we should all go get tested." And that led to the big difference now that I know for sure between a place like California and a place like Alabama. It is so fucking hard to get tested in this state.
Dude, it really is. I mean, I tried to get tested multiple times when I went back, and it was a fucking pain in the ass getting that set up.
Yeah. So, I mean, I live in Auburn, which has a big university. We're technically, on paper, at least one of the smart areas of town because everyone in this fucking town works for a college. But even goddamn here, it was the biggest runaround I've ever, it took me 4 hours just to find a place that would do it. And the place that would do it is the Auburn University Medical Clinic. And I tried to get it set up originally with the East Alabama Medical Center, which is the main hospital here. And the fucking hospital told me that I couldn't get a test unless I had symptoms. And I'm like, that's not how this works. What the fuck is wrong with you?
They were also saying too, it's and it's really up to the doctor whether you get one or not. It's up to the doctor.
Yeah.
And it's it's not covered by insurance, so I'm paying you anyway. It's give me the fucking swab, dude.
Yeah.
I don't understand what it's because they want to keep their numbers down, being no,
exactly.
See, liberal goddamn California, it's going nuts, but see, they're making it up. It's no, you've got it just as bad, if not worse.
Yeah.
You're intentionally fudging the fucking numbers.
Yeah, it's just very hard to get. My parents are on Medicare, so they had to pay out of pocket. They were like, "Oh, we're not testing people on Medicare." I'm like, "That's who it kills." It's old people.
God.
That's the worst part of the whole thing is that my parents haven't left the goddamn house. They're actually in the whatever, 1% of this goddamn state that's taking it fucking seriously. Or maybe that's not a generous.
It's the same thing too. It's like me and Carly were talking about. It's why is it so fucking bad in LA if everyone's been, in theory, being kind of good about it? And it's just because it's a pandemic and it's just going to have its time with every state. That's the horrifying reality about this shit,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so that's what I was dealing with. And by the time we all got tested, I was just, like you said, I mean, I was on the, I had to hold myself back from being give me the swab or I'll fucking hit you. Like, is what I wanted to say. I will come down there and I will fucking hit you if you don't give it to me. Like,
it's so crazy that like
it was
they're
that
just like,
frustrating.
well, if you don't have symptoms, then I mean, I don't understand. It's like I was directly exposed. Yeah, but I mean, it's like
that was what they told me initially when I told them the situation on the phone. They were like, oh, well, you know, your parents should come in, but you don't have to worry about it. I'm like, we've been in the same room. We haven't left the same room as each other for days. Like, if they've got it, I fucking got it.
Oh, they were trying to like alleviate me like I was being crazy. Like, honey, now, I don't know how many times I got to say it. You don't got to just like, I don't know how, like, what's it fucking to you? I know this is the most you've had to work because people are afraid to get checkups in the South. You know what I mean? Like, people are afraid to go to the doctor. So this is the most you've had to work in your entire life, but it's like, just give me this. I can do it myself.
Yeah.
You know
At this point, I'm real fucking good at it. Give myself the test. Just hand me the goddamn biohazard bag, you asshole.
Yeah, like, and I'll throw it into the fucking medical trash can and then fucking send me back the thing. Like, you don't have to do anything, Carla.
I'll say this to anybody listening who's not in, I assume New York, it's probably pretty easy in LA. We are so goddamn spoiled. I've probably been to Dodger Stadium because I had a tickle in the back of my throat like 5 times, like over the summer. Because anytime I was just like, you know, like I was a little stuffed up, and I was like, well, it's not because the whole state is on fire. It's because obviously I have this disease, and I just literally, people don't, people won't believe this because in this state, it's been driven home to me how fucking hard it was to get a test. So people might not believe this shit. All that Carter and I have to do to get a test in LA, go to the website, say what time you want to go the next day, and then just go park your car at Dodger Stadium and sit in line, and it takes 45 fucking minutes, and that's it.
I don't know if I'm taking advantage of the situation or whatever, but I was like I would be like, you know, like, oh, my farts smell extra bad, and then I would go down there and like get tested, and it's like it came back like before 8 p.m. that night.
Yeah.
And it's free. And it's like, who gives a fuck? Like, we should all be given access to tests that easily.
Yeah.
And that quick of a turnaround. If it's that, I mean, like, there's no excuse for smaller places. There's just not.
No. Well, and especially, you know, I think their excuse would be something to the effect of like, oh, well, you know, if we're just testing everybody, then it's going to be hypochondriacs. And it's like, yeah, that's fine, because otherwise they're just having anxiety attacks on top of potentially COVID. So
we're just feeding into hypochondriacs. It's the bury the head in the fucking sand Southern mentality. And
totally.
You gotta fucking.
Well, I gotta imagine it's not even just the South. It's got to be fucking every small town like this.
It's everywhere. I mean, it's here too. It's parts of California. It's you know, it's parts of New York. Like, it's everywhere.
It was dire. I will tell you the one funny thing that happened though. I made some fried chicken, and
oh man, I saw a picture in my phone of the chicken fingers you made that one time.
Oh yeah,
or a couple of times ago. But I forgot what movie we were watching. I think it was the Fred Durst movie.
Oh yeah, that's right. But
dude,
with John Travolta as Moose.
Yeah, what's it called? The Fan or something? Or...
Yeah, God damn it, I can't even. Big Fan, or no, that's the Patton Oswalt one.
That's the Patton Oswalt one. It's called oh fuck.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's on Patreon. Patreon.com/thegoodspot.
Yeah, there it is. But man, I saw a picture of those chicken fingies, and I was like, God damn, I miss them shits.
The Fanatic is what it's called. The Fanatic.
The Fanatic.
There we go.
Because what do you want to bet that when Fred Durst was making that movie, he like its working title was The Fan, that someone was like, you know, there's a Wesley Snipes, Robert De Niro movie called that, right?
Yeah, and then he was like,
say what?
And then he was like, all right, we're gonna change it to Big Fan, and it's like, yeah, that's already a movie with Patton Oswalt. And it's,
say what? Yeah, like, come on. He had to say that a bunch.
But what I was gonna say, I made some chicken fingers, and in order to do that, you got to marinate them shits in buttermilk. So I bought a big thing of buttermilk, and there was still quite a bit left over sitting in the fridge. And so in the middle of the scare, before we got the test, my mom is still thinking she may have COVID, and she wakes up early in the morning and makes coffee and pours a little bit of milk in it and starts drinking the coffee, and it's just like, oh, this tastes fucking weird, and then starts getting freaked out like, oh my God, I have fucking COVID. And then she makes herself a bowl of granola and pours more of the milk in there, and then she's like, this tastes so goddamn weird, I for sure have this. And then noticed that she had been using the buttermilk. So funny. That's about as funny as a moment as you're gonna get when you think you're gonna die, potentially.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm sorry your mom had to go through that.
Yeah.
I know it really does fuck with like because I mean, let's be honest. As someone who has put on 20 pounds during this fucking pandemic, food is all we got.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's
It's the best.
when you take that away, you're just like, and when you start questioning everything you eat, it's like, is that a little like sandy for some reason? Like you think you're. And I've talked to people who've had it, and they were like, who are our age, who are like, yep, I haven't tasted anything for fucking like a month. Like they just like this one guy, Carly's friend sent her like he pours this whole glass full of whiskey and just drinks it and swishes it around. He's like,
holy shit, that's weird, man.
Isn't that crazy? I was just like, oh, like that made it real for me. I would become suicidal. I was like, you can't take this from me.
Yeah,
like,
it's the one thing. It's my favorite thing.
Yeah, eating is literally everything in between is not eating. Like as Carly's tweet went. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Well, I will say there is one thing left to do. Carter and I had another bang earlier when I spoke to Sam, but with you, we're getting kind of later in the day here in Alabama, and I think it's time to unwind with something I found at a gas station, which is Pabst Blue Ribbon hard coffee.
That's fucked up, man.
I'll put a picture of this on our Twitter. I haven't tried it yet. This is a true reaction audio.
I mean, like with like hard coffee or goddamn, what do you call it?
Seltzer?
Like an Irish coffee or something.
Yeah.
There's booze in it. There's not fucking beer. Like that's disgusting.
Well, this says malt beverage with natural and artificial flavors. So, and it contains milk. So here we go. I'm gonna do this on mic so people can hear it. No, I'm not kidding.
Oh hell yeah! You getting saucy over there, my man?
Oh yeah! All right, here we go,
dude.
It smells like Yoo-hoo. First of all, I haven't even sipped it. I just opened it, and the little poof of air that came out, straight Yoo-hoo.
Dude, if this is the new Doo-Doo Rita, then
oh Christ!
How is it?
I can't taste the alcohol in it at all, but it's way too goddamn sweet.
That's how they cover up the booze. Is they just pour sugar on it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's like Sparks. Like Sparks. They're like really against Sparks because it's too easy to take down. So people are like eating each other's face, like the bath salts of like truck stop liquors.
Yeah, this is. I mean, it's like I said, it's a little bit too sweet, but I mean, honestly, if you put this in the fridge and didn't see that it said Pabst Blue Ribbon on the side, you could theoretically drink an entire one of these and not know you were drinking booze.
I mean, I'd try it, I guess, but
no, I'm gonna get. I got three.
I mean, like, I got the people who suggest this. There's got to be someone in the office be like, "Ooh, dude, fuck you."
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, Carter. I got 3 left in this box, and I'll probably be coming back to LA with all 3 of these because.
Is it a little? Well, I imagine it's a little yuck, but
I mean, I don't know. I got into the seltzers recently. There's a local brewery in Atlanta called Scofflaw that makes a good Georgia peach seltzer, and that's one where I was like, oh, I could actually, I could see myself drinking a lot of these. This I was worried when I bought it. I was like, am I going to turn into an ironic booze hound? Like, I just...
As like Dugaritas and coffee PBRs.
Yeah.
It's like, what has happened to me? What is my life?
Oh, I wanted to mention this. I saw, and I'll put this on our Twitter so people can see it. I saw a painting truck, like a house painter's work truck, and the name of their company was MAGA Painting LLC. Nice. And I was like, man, you went all the way in. You jumped right into the deep end with this stupid thing.
I mean, I'm glad you chose that hill to die on because you just took away a lot of business for yourself by making a fucking point with your stupid painting company.
Right. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you could have, I mean, voting wise in Alabama, 30 to 40% more business if you just called it Jim's Painting.
Yeah, and people would assume you're a Trumpy shithead and not say anything.
Right. Speaking of Trump, I wanted to read this story because this was... I have 2. I have 2 that are both just great because I got to be real honest. Like, Donald Trump has been very boring since the election. Like, his whole Twitter...
Well, he's a broken man is what it is. And
yeah, his whole Twitter is just like, I didn't lose this. And I'm like, buddy, you're squandering such an opportunity to do a bunch of weird shit with the last few months in office.
Yeah, what's the last time we had a lame duck? Like, go for it. But, I mean, he's just broken and, like, I don't know. If his family gave a fuck about him, they'd be like, what's wrong with dad? But,
yeah, well, they've all moved on. Ivanka's tweeting about her fucking clothes. Like, Junior's, like, tweeting about his books and stuff. Like, everyone else has moved on. It's just this one guy. But I will say, we did get this little story that just proves that if anybody was in doubt that Donald Trump is the ultimate boomer, this is the story. Prosecutors in the Netherlands have confirmed that Donald Trump's Twitter was hacked back in October of this year after a researcher managed to crack his profile password. So
nice.
On October 22nd, when the U.S. elections were in their final stages, a Dutch researcher named Victor Gevers shared a screenshot of what appeared to be the inside of Trump's Twitter account. A security expert, Gevers had apparently accessed Trump's DMs and could tweet from his account. The White House, however, had denied these reports and reports of any such hacks back then. But according to reports, Gevers had told Dutch media that Trump's account did not even have basic security measures like a two-factor authentication. So he didn't even have the thing where it texts you on your phone if you're actually the one trying to get in.
I think, like, you know how, like, when everyone was afraid to, like, make jokes about Donald Trump at first because it was just too damn depressing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think it's over now because, like, someone who flew that hard on self-confidence is just ripe for parody. Yeah, it's like something like this. Like, he doesn't even think he needs to authenticate his fucking password because he's like, no one would have the balls.
Yeah. Oh, well, get this. So, the hacker said that he got into the account by simply guessing the password and was successful on his 5th attempt.
Jesus.
Trump's password, as of October, and this is real, confirmed at least by the Dutch government, Trump's password was MAGA 2020.
I guess ABC 123 was taken.
Dude, I love that it was his 5th attempt to guess, because literally I bet his first guess was Trump 2020, his second guess was Donald 2020, and he just went down the row and eventually hit MAGA 2020 was his password as of October.
What was he on? Fucking did he get on Twitter through AOL?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that seems like a less protected than they would even let you be now. Also, not that Twitter needs to be helping Donald Trump, but somebody should have sent him an email like, hey, man, you're the president. You should probably have a little bit of a harder password to guess. Or
their lack of regulation over his Twitter is so perfect.
Prosecutable, one would argue.
Yeah, one would argue.
Yeah. So following a detailed probe, Dutch investigators have revealed that Gevers will not be charged because he hacked ethically. They said that hacking is a crime in the Netherlands, but special circumstances like...
It's just that he won't be charged because Donald Trump is so goddamn hateable.
That's exactly it. Yeah, they're just bullshit, and they're like, yeah, he hacked ethically, but really they're just like, no, good job, man.
It's like, do we have to prosecute him? Like, I don't want to. I mean, everyone hates him so much.
This was unbelievable, though, because I was like, oh, that's a funny story. Okay, cool. That's kind of funny. He has a stupid password. This is actually not the first time that Gevers hacked Trump's account. The BBC reported that Gevers was among 3 hackers who hacked into the then presidential candidate's account by guessing his password. In 2016, they got in by guessing, "You're fired."
It's like a fucking Donald Trump fan account.
Yeah, well, and the absolute best part, and this is why he's the ultimate boomer, he's the ultimate poster, he's the ultimate Facebook president, "You're" misspelled. YOURFIRD.
That rules, man.
He misspelled his own catchphrase, which is just cheers of the Pabst Blue Nasty coffee to that.
I mean, I gotta say, dude, people like forget that although he is endlessly confident, he is also very, very stupid, and that's
yes.
Like, it's a sweet little reminder that how he is truly a fucking dumbass.
Well, and this one's a little bit kind of along the same lines. So, and like I said, everything that we've been getting from him since the election has been kind of boring. This is the kind of shit that I miss. Not that this is good in any way, but it is like, hey, what are you going to do to stop this? You can only just stand back and look at it in abject horror. And that is this headline: Trump declares that buildings must be, quote unquote, beautiful.
This is the last thought that someone has before their fucking synapses shut down.
That's what I'm saying, dude. He's literally sitting there just being like, the buildings, they're ugly. I hate the buildings.
Make sure the buildings are beautiful when I'm gone.
U.S. President Donald Trump has issued an executive order that all future federal buildings across the country must be, quote unquote, beautiful. And preferably built in a classical Greek or Roman style. So he's basically just like, they all have to look like the White House.
Yeah, it's like make every home a White House. And like everyone's just like thankful that he's fucking powering down. There's like, okay, buddy, we may as well just placate him and be like, sure, yeah, that sounds nice. Every house should be a White House. How about all the apartments? Should they be White Houses too? Okay, sure. Whatever you want, buddy.
I think this one, because as tempted as I am to assume that this is Trump, I'm also just as equally tempted to assume this is Stephen Miller, because the main thing that I associate with Greek revival architecture is not necessarily the White House, although it is that. It is fucking plantation homes. That's Greek architecture. That is...
Oh, right.
That's what they like. That's what they're talking about. Like, neoclassical to me is plantation houses around here and shit like that. So I think that might be the Stephen Miller coming out. I think Trump was just sitting there, like I said, just despondent still from the election, and was just saying, I want them to be beautiful. The buildings must be beautiful. And then Stephen Miller's weird racist ass is just like, they must look like Tara from Gone with the Wind. All of them.
Oh, my God.
The executive order says that too many federal buildings reflect brutalist or deconstructivist designs of the last century.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, if you put a gun to Donald Trump's head and told him to define brutalism, he could not. He's never read that word. That is pure...
Well, if he was asked to define brutalism, he'd like, have you seen Bloodsport?
Yes. Exactly. The movies of Jean-Claude, brutal.
Yeah, brutal.
He kicks that guy in the balls. It's awesome. It says that new government buildings should look more like America's quote-unquote beloved and cherished landmarks, such as the White House. In
every home, a White House.
The order is titled, quote, Promoting Beautiful Federal Civic Architecture, and creates a new council to advise the president on future federal buildings, which, listen, I got plenty of problems with Joe Biden. I've got a fucking list going out the door. But one of them is not that he will entertain these idiots for 5 seconds. That is one thing I am positive that Joe Biden will not do. As soon as the association to make everything look like the White House comes into the Oval Office, he's like, "I'm sorry, you're gone. My peace.
Yeah,
I don't need this.
What are you talking about, man?
Yeah, what? Who gives a shit, man?
Yeah."
Because he's deranged in the other way. Donald Trump is deranged in the way that he has visions of his own, and Joe just seems like he's just like, I don't know, whatever, man.
He's just fucking old. Yeah, that's what it is.
He has, yeah. The light is leaving his eyes, and the light is growing in Trump's eyes.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's just like fat on power. Like that's the whole thing. Like, Joe Biden is very old and is kind of in and out.
Right.
But Trump is constantly on like a self-made cocaine bender.
Yeah. Well, and it might be the money thing too, because one of the big things about Joe Biden that's weird is that he made life so easy for insurance companies and other rich shitheads in Delaware for his entire career, but he's not that rich. That's one of the beguiling things about him, is that
he's a lifelong politician, so he's shaking a lot of hands and kissing a lot of insurance companies' dicks.
Yeah, but Pelosi got rich on that shit. Like she knew how to make millions and millions of dollars off of it. Joe's fucking broke. Anyway, so that's what's happening with our big, slippery, wet baby president as he gets shuffled out the door.
He's been pretty quiet. He's been pretty quiet, or at least in terms of what I've seen.
Well, he's been quiet about, he hasn't been quiet. It's more like he's just been tweeting about the one thing, which is the election, and everyone on earth has moved on.
Of course he's going to be fixated on it. The rest of his life is going to be, judged by that. Yeah. That he was a one-term lame duck president.
Yeah, everyone else has fucking moved on except for that guy, but anyway.
That's all he's got.
Well, yeah, so this last one comes to us from our friends at the There's Nobody Here Named Josh podcast, at There's No Josh. Shout out to our friends up there in Canada.
I love that name.
It's a fun podcast. I've done it before. Yeah, y'all listen to There's Nobody Here Named Josh. I did a fun episode over there. And speaking of Canadian podcasts, I did the Dr. DC podcast, and I kind of sounded like I knew what I was talking about with comics.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah. I told him to hit you up. I was like, Carter would be way better on the show than me because I was just like, I don't know, Bane is goofy. I don't know.
Oh, it's about like comic books.
Yeah,
I was like, I would imagine you know what you're talking about like stand-up comics.
Oh, no, comic books. Yeah, Dr. DC. Yeah, we talked about Batman and what entrance music each member of the Justice League would have. And I feel pretty confident in mine that Superman, since he's an asshole, would absolutely have Headstrong by Trapped as his entrance music if he was wrestling or MMA or...
a billionaire beating the shit out of people just trying to steal to eat. Yeah.
Well, no, that's Batman. I'm talking Superman. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Superman, not unlike Joe Biden. He has all the power to steal all the money he wants, but he didn't for some reason. Anyway, this is from There's Nobody Here Named Josh, and they sent this headline over. Creed's Scott Stapp to play Frank Sinatra in Ronald Reagan biopic.
What?
Every word of that headline is a nightmare.
Who is playing Reagan?
Dennis Quaid will star as Ronald Reagan in a movie about his life, including his days in Hollywood.
I gotta say, that's pretty good casting. That's pretty on point. But Scott Stapp as Sinatra is a nightmare.
It's crazy. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Can he act?
I don't think he's ever done a movie, as far as I know, unless it's been some weird cameo as himself.
You gotta think like somewhere Michael Bublé's going like, that's fine. Whatever. Fucking spent a whole life imitating that guy. Hey, whatever. No, I get it.
And this movie, it seems like, we talked about Randy Quaid, quite a bit. And I think I also said, or maybe you did, that Dennis Quaid is probably just as conservative, but he's just not talking about it.
Yeah, he plays it a little closer to the vest, I think.
This definitely bears that out because this whole movie is nothing but like washed up Republican actors and stuff. So I think this is going to be a pretty hilarious movie. Actually,
nice. Who's the Republican crooner? I mean, I guess Scott Stapp, but Scott Stapp?
I think it has to be him. I don't know who else would do it.
Yeah. I guess you're right. He doesn't look like Sinatra. What the fuck?
Yeah, I know he doesn't.
I really hope he does like a Christian Bale like body change. Goes method or whatever.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing is Scott Stapp is like or at least. I don't know what the hell he looks like now, but at least like late 90s Scott Stapp, way too jacked up to be Sinatra. Sinatra's like a real thin, kind of wiry guy.
Yeah.
But so it's got Dennis Quaid, and it says that Stapp will portray Sinatra in a scene from the film that takes place at the famed Coconut Grove in Los Angeles, a popular spot for old Hollywood personalities. The scene will reportedly see the Creed rocker perform a song, although it's unclear at this time which one of Sinatra's hits he'll lend his voice to. And I don't know which one, but any of them are going to be funny considering who's singing the song. Fly me to the moon. Let me play among the stars.
That's life.
I did it
There's life.
way.
Only the lonely.
Strangers in the night.
Now I'm Spotifying. It's Frank Sinatra song. Let's see what we got here.
Fucking start spreading the news.
Flying high in April, shot down in me.
So Stapp said in a statement, quote, Sinatra in performance mode was an exercise in restraint. He had this steely, stylish swagger, and his sheer presence commanded a room.
There's not a time when Scott Stapp isn't being 100% embarrassing like all the time. It was a real exercise in restraint. It's like you couldn't barrel chest rock for 5 seconds.
He says, I was excited to join the cast and blown away by the on-set attention to detail, style, and overall production. Stapp is the latest celebrity to sign on to the project, which includes Penelope Ann Miller. She's the love interest in Kindergarten Cop, I think. She's playing Nancy Reagan.
So they really did get go top tier with the talent.
She is playing Nancy Reagan. Mina Savari, who I was like, damn, I hadn't heard that name in forever, is playing Reagan's first wife, Jane Wyman.
Well, I guess it's like if it was a dick situation, like everyone who played the actors was liberal and making a point because it was satire.
Right.
Is this like every actor is conservative?
That's what
it's like a hagiography?
Dude, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. And then Kevin Dillon from Entourage is playing Jack Warner from Warner Brothers.
Oh, nice. Dude.
And then finally, and this is how I know that it's a super Christian, conservative, ridiculous film, John Voight is playing a KGB agent tracking Reagan for decades. I fucking cannot wait. Is it insane?
Are they letting Clint Eastwood direct this, or are they putting it in the hand of some other shithead hopeful?
There's no way. No, Eastwood is not. I don't think Eastwood would touch this, especially not with this cast. But anyway, so that's all the shit I got
crazy.
for you.
I'm absolutely going to watch that movie. Like, there's no way I'm not going to watch that movie.
Oh,
like,
it's gonna. Oh, and I'm wondering. First of all, there's, like I said, John Voight is playing a KGB agent tracking Reagan throughout his life or whatever. I'm wondering if
it's going to be like a slight variation on his character in Anaconda.
Yeah, Reagan eats him whole and then barfs him up and he winks. My favorite part of Anaconda.
Reagan is the best way to track Reagan is on the river.
I seriously think that the end of this movie will be the Berlin Wall falling and this KGB agent that's been following Reagan coming to America and like becoming a citizen and like getting redemption somehow. He like learns that, the American way is the real way,
Yeah, as most people have, and it's true.
Yeah. Well, Carter, are you ready for our Christmas jam of the fucking day?
Dude, give it to me, baby.
The Thunder from Down Under, AC/DC with their Christmas tune from the Razor's Edge album, Mistress for Christmas.
Oh boy. And now Razor's Edge, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the album with Thunderstruck, right?
Yeah, this is kind of their after
this is kind of like their 90s revival for just for that song
for sure. But, yeah, I mean they kind of had a little
don't get me wrong, I love AC/DC. Just putting that on Main Street. Love AC/DC.
Yeah. I was trying to figure out the best way to say this, and I think I found it this. It's like normal people with good taste can like AC/DC. I like AC/DC. I like the Bon Scott era especially, and then I like Back in Black, and then it kind of fizzles from there. But that's most people.
I'll say this: being in an AC/DC cover band sounds like a shit ton of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, with this caveat, I say this: if AC/DC is your favorite band, you are a boring person.
Or you love strip clubs.
But even strip clubs people probably would prefer like Motley Crue or something.
Maybe so. I would say like strip club people with taste would prefer AC/DC, but
sure.
Well, I don't know. Motley Crue there's some early fun Motley Crue songs.
Yeah,
I'll go as far as to say that.
I'm not above any of this. I like I said, I like some AC/DC, but I have been waiting to do an AC/DC song for Jam of the Day, specifically because I kind of anticipated what the comments would be, and I think I'm right, which is that a lot of these people appear to be the most normie, boring people on earth. The AC/DC thing can maybe best be summarized by the fact that Iron Man 2, which is probably the worst definitely the worst Iron Man movie, probably the worst movie in Marvel, the entire soundtrack is AC/DC. And I think that speaks volumes. I think that is exactly where it's just like, dude, if you were just coasting in life, like Iron Man 1 made $1 billion, Iron Man 2 is going to make $1 billion no matter how shitty it is. So they're like, just
they did the obvious thing for the first Iron Man and, got Black Sabbath. They bought the song Iron Man, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, well, they had Iron Man, and then the AC/DC's in the first one, too, but it's only the song Back in Black, I think, is just the only... But the second one, the whole goddamn soundtrack is AC/DC, and it's like Tony Stark flying around to shoot to thrill, and I'm like, yeah, that's about right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, I love that song. I'm a little biased.
Yeah, no, like I said, me too. I just think if it's your absolute favorite thing, you're weird. You're weird.
I think it can be one of your favorite things.
Okay.
I would say. I mean, like, I would say that the AC/DC people are like, if AC/DC is your favorite band, it's probably not too far removed from like if Van Halen is your favorite band.
Okay.
Well, no, Van Halen are like guitar nuts, is their favorite band.
Right, right.
Van Halen.
Yeah, because they're a little more technical. AC/DC is a little more raw.
They're more like kind of boogie, kind of hard rock shit.
Right.
But I don't know. Yeah, again, like I think in their heyday, they made some pretty flawless records, and I grew up learning how to play guitar to like Highway to Hell and Back in Black.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
All right. Well, anyway, let's get down to these comments for their Christmas song, "Mistress for Christmas." Douglas Robert from 2 years ago. This is just so AC/DC. All right, Douglas. Thank you.
Thank you for your input, Doug. Dougie.
The real golden frog from 12 years ago.
What is that? Is that a term I'm not familiar with?
I don't know. It's just the real golden frog. Such a random song to include in an album that has been named The Razor's Edge. I don't mind, though, because it's a combination of three amazing things that I love: AC/DC, Christmas, and an energetic song that can get your blood pumping in no time.
I mean, it is a sheer cash. I mean, they were in the business of making football anthems now, so it's like, why not make a Christmas song? You know what I mean? Like,
but yeah, just what I'm saying. These are very normal people. I love three things: AC/DC, Christmas, and an energetic song.
I would say, yeah, like this. These are a lot of people's favorite band is AC/DC. Is people whose like favorite music comes from like music played in football arenas.
Right. The Edema Fracture from 3 years ago.
Edema Fracture? Like the band Edema?
No, Dima, D-I-M-A, Fracture. Dema Fracture.
Oh, okay.
Dema Fracture from 3 years ago. This is the best of the best band of the history.
Another important facet of AC/DC fans, drunks.
This guy's been getting into the hard coffee way too much, I gotta say.
Yeah. Big time drunks. Although AC/DC, again, like it doesn't really work playing it at a bar. It works when you play it at a strip club, but not really at a bar.
Scott Young. I don't know if he's related to the Young Brothers at all, but Scott Young from 3 years ago.
Oh, fucking R.I.P. Malcolm, dude.
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of those in there. But Scott Young, this is very disgusting. Santa ain't the only one who's got a full sack.
Oh, Scott.
My balls are filled with molten lava, bitch.
My balls are filled with cum.
That's what he's saying.
It's pretty gross.
This is very similar. Rob Watts from 2 years ago. I want to empty my sack on your reindeer. I don't.
Okay, fourth contingent of AC/DC fans.
Perverts, yes. That wasn't the end of that one. He says, I want to empty my sack on your reindeer. I don't listen to anything but rock. The rest is all lies.
I mean, AC/DC probably does, especially the Brian Johnson years, some of the most thinly veiled double entendres.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, let me put my love into you. Let me cut your cake with my knife.
Big balls. I've got big balls, and he's got big balls.
Those are the Bon Scott
That's true.
years.
That's true. Yeah, carrying on that tradition.
Yeah. But, man, yeah, I mean, they got real strippery around Back in Black, which is great. I mean, some of the best songs, You Shook Me All Night Long, like, come on.
Yeah.
Let Me Put My Love Into You is a great song. It's disgusting, but it's a great song.
Haley Raven Bella Hansen from 4 days ago. Nice. Love this song. My late husband always said, baby, get us a mistress for Christmas. Then I did.
And then I killed him.
She says, then I did. Best damn Christmas ever. So,
whoa.
So this is a lady who...
Okay, she was down. They were down for some,
they had a threesome for Christmas, you know.
Yeah.
and now he's dead, and he got what he wanted.
Died with the biggest smile on his face of all time.
Lorenzo Lopez for 2 years ago. How about a mistress and her sister for Christmas? It is a time for receiving. I was like, what? What's happening at the Lopez house?
This is some pretty. Look, there's a lot of lonely Christmases right now. I'm participating in one, but you know, Well, actually, don't think twice before you comment on a YouTube page. No one's gonna look at them, right?
Yeah. Daniel Kemp from 1 year ago. A girl in senior high school once asked me what I wanted for Christmas. I told her, and then I kissed her in front of everyone. I got slapped in the face and suspended for 4 days, but it was worth it.
It was worth. She didn't ask.
Man, my favorite Christmas memory is when I assaulted that girl.
Man, it was crazy, dude. People were like fucking, trying to tackle me and stuff, and I was like, don't hate the player, hate the game.
The town was chasing me with pitchforks because it was El Presidente's daughter. Shit.
Yeah, shit, man. Don't hate the player, dog.
Lost and Found from 1 week ago. I was told I'm free. We know what that means. He can't handle me.
I was told I'm free. I'm drunk. You're the one who's drunk, motherfucker. I thought this was a free country.
I love this one. Frank Caesar from 10 months ago. Well, Christmas is over, but Easter? Find some heavy metal eggs. If you get lucky, you might find a bunny if you bad. God bless you.
I guess the fifth contingent of AC/DC fans is like Southern idiots.
Or as the Aussies say, bogans. I believe it's
bogans.
They're bogans. I was going to say the other thing about AC/DC fans, a lot of them have been hit with heavy machinery, apparently, on the head.
Yeah, that's lucky number 6.
Let's see. Dave B 6214 from 2 weeks ago. Have a great Christmas, guys, and hopefully we will see you all next year touring. Keep rocking from the UK. P.S. Your new album is better than a vaccine. What?
I've heard the new AC/DC album is good.
Yeah, I have too, but I've also heard that Britain has a mutant strain of COVID that is 70% more contagious. So
I heard that too. That's that's wild. That's fucking wild.
Kopek from 5 hours ago. I want to be Angus Young's guitar and Brian Johnson's microphone in this new year. Happy 2021, everyone.
I want them to give me COVID.
No, I think he's saying he wants to be the instruments. Like he wants a Beauty and the Beast type situation where Brian Johnson becomes a beast and all of his instruments become personalities.
Well, it's like Angus Young tickles your crotch for a while and jumps around with you, and then Brian Johnson yells into your face.
Again, even the normies, even the conspiracy nuts on here are fucking normies. This guy had a Punisher avatar. Just watching from 1 year ago. Happy pagan holidays, sheeple. I want a mistress for every day. Why not? Hell, I'll splurge and take 2.
Yeah, sheeple. You're commenting on an AC/DC song.
Yeah, and this is from a year ago. People stopped saying sheeple in like 2010. It's been 10 years.
Yeah.
Quit it. Knock it out. I got a few more here. This one is actually not stupid. It's just interesting. Tunes of Freedom from 1 year ago. Angus Young, in an interview with Guitar World in 1991, said of Mistress for Christmas, quote, "That song's about Donald Trump." So he said, "I think the funniest song on this new album is Mistress for Christmas. That song's about Donald Trump. He was big news at the time, so we thought that we'd have a bit of fun and humor with it."
Like criticizing him, or so wait, he's or like that he had a mistress for Christmas?
Yeah, the chorus is "I want a mistress for Christmas," and apparently they were like reading the tabloids about Trump and were like, and they kept mentioning his various mistresses. So that's what they wrote the song about.
Okay, I'll tell you.
I got 2 more here. One's short and one's juicy.
All right.
So Gary Schaefer from 1 year ago, and this is all caps, would like a head visor with AC/DC on it. I can't stand hats. I was like, buddy, AC/DC is maybe the most heavily merchandised band outside of the Beatles. I think you can find a fucking visor. It couldn't be that hard.
There has to be a visor for AC/DC.
Also, this is YouTube, not the AC/DC merch complaint department. So,
oh man, I would love a visor that has AC. I would like a visor. Just you look like a shithead with a visor.
all right, and finally, this is so the first one is Mark Poraitis from 2 months ago. But this isn't really interesting. The reply is interesting. So Mark says, if I told my wife a mistress is what I wanted for Christmas this year, the divorce papers would be filed for sure. Oh, well, a fella can always dream. ... So, again,
Boo.
normie, boring, whatever. The reply, though, my God. The reply comes from Sandy Rogers 4 days ago. Then why do you have a wife? Clearly she isn't enough. Clearly you're not into her anymore. Pardon my being blunt and rude, but there's no other way to read what you wrote. I feel really bad for her. My other half got a mistress last year. I will never look at a guy the same way because I know better now. Hard lesson to learn. I want my self-esteem back. The mistress stole that as well. They made Christmas Eve, they met Christmas Eve 2019 at a club. I stumbled onto this song last night. I read several of comments. I am disgusted. I'm no angel. I just don't want anyone else feeling these feelings that I'm feeling. Anyhow, I wish you well, and I actually mean no harm. I'm just hurting right now, and at the end of the day, I'm still an AC/DC fan. I apologize to you and anyone else. Pay no mind to me. I am a silly Scorpio woman.
I gotta say...
That's the full spectrum of human emotion.
Let's get one thing out of the way. She's certainly not projecting. You know what I mean?
No, this has nothing.
This is an objective criticism of what he said.
It was not a joke what he said. He meant it absolutely literally, and now she is furious.
Yeah, as she has every right to be, and she's not just bringing up her own shit into it, which I gotta say, it reveals a lot about the human condition, and I hope she has books written, because I would like to read more.
Oh, absolutely. Well, that is AC/DC's Mistress for Christmas. Hope everybody out there has a tremendous holiday this year. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you're into. Carter, where can people get your new stand-up album as a great Christmas gift?
It's a great stocking stuffer, digitally. It can stuff your digital stockings.
You can empty your sack and find the crystal pistol.
Right. You can fill your sack with my mouth. What? Yeah, sure, that works. You can buy it on iTunes. It is called The Crystal Pistol by me, Carter Glascock. And you should buy it. You should just buy it. But if you don't want to buy it, if you want to stream it, it's on Apple Music. And give me a look-see at Carter_Glascock on Twitter and Instagram. And then check out my website, carterglascock.com. That is it.
All righty. Well, thank you for talking to me. I hope you have a good Christmas over there at Disgraceland.
You too, buddy.
Tell Carly I said happy holidays as well. And we'll talk to you.
I will.
We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, buddy. I'll talk to you soon. Merry Christmas, man.
Yeah, you too. That is going to do it for our show today. Thank y'all so much for listening. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you're into. Thank y'all so much for listening to The Goods from the Woods. It means the world to us. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Rivers Langley. And, of course, as mentioned in the middle segment, now we are proud to debut the new Christmas single from our friends in Richmond, Virginia. This is the Alex Jonestown Massacre with Oh, Massive Night. And we will see you next time.
Tots for tots, baby, tots for tots. bright red suit and down your chimney. He said my name is Father Christmas Day, but people call me Jolly Old Saint Nick. Some people call me Eartha Kitt, 'cause every year Christmas almost kills me. Trees and lights, baby, lights and trees. Acid flashbacks to CCD. Haley crashing to the midnight mass on Christmas Eve. Lights and trees, baby, trees and lights. She thought of presents back at home wrapped tight. Fell to her knees and started to cry when the soloist hit the high note, No Holy Night. Pretty sure the jukebox went from Fairy Tale of New York to No Doubt's cover of Boy to the World. And all the other Christmas songs, they got scratched into her soul. Well, I don't wanna fight tonight like Joey or Ramone, but there's no one left to fight. Yeah, Haley's all alone. So from Brooklyn to Brookline, Minneapolis to St. Paul, to all a good night, and a Merry Christmas to all.